Hello, conspiracy players. Welcome to another episode. Today we have a real motherfucking barn burner with JJ Vance in the house. Also, Julia from the Cosmic Peach and Lola, a friend of ours that we have recently met who lives in the same area as us. As you can see, we have our first in studio guest. So this is pretty
Nice.
exciting. Uh, to start out, JJ, why don't you just introduce yourself, give the spiel you're giving these days, and then we'll move on to the gals.
Yes, sir. Colby, great to see you again. Great, appreciate the invite. Yeah, great conversation. I'm looking forward to here. Julia, always looking forward to conversation. We always have some barn burners when we link up for these conversations. And Lola, great to meet you, ma'am. JJ Vance, host of Operation GCD, and perhaps more notably, not somewhere on the screen, not the vice president. No bombs here. Um, Host of Operation GCD Sundays and Thursdays are my Patreon shows. I do a free preview on Rumble, Twixter, and YouTube, and then Operation GCD Live Wednesdays. Mostly film reviews. Just did Lethal Weapon last week, the 1987 cinematic masterpiece Lethal Weapon, depicting the programs of Bill Colby, CIA director, brought his programs home. Gladio, Project Phoenix, serial killers, Phoenix program, and Air America, drug trafficking. What a great American. And then Fridays, I just do Operation GCD Fridays, do like a round table, different conspiracy culture topics with whatever guest I have on. So that's where folks can find me. And again, I look forward to this conversation because cults, that's now you're talking my language. I definitely enjoy these conversations. And I had never heard of this cult. So whenever I'm always deeply fascinated by a cult that I've never heard of. So this is looking forward to the conversation.
All right, me too. Julia, you're up.
Thanks for having me. This is gonna be a barn burner for sure. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air tonight. It's gonna be a good one. Cosmic Peach podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts. I actually got some fun stuff coming up with JJ and I. We talked about government cheese in a recent episode, and we got another one coming up about 70s game show serial killers program
Yes, ma'am.
to serial kill. So I'm excited about that one. Always love a good collab. Thanks for having me, Lola.
I'm Lola. This is my first time on a podcast, but
Oh, nice.
I've always really been super into. Well, it started with Dave McGowan, and
Yeah.
then yeah, I've just been really into cults and serial killers and
A woman
the
after
rest.
my own heart.
yes,
Dave
Have you ever
McGowan.
been in a cult
no,
and or a serial killer?
no.
I think
Which
JJ's
McGowan book
JJ's
is your
serial
favorite?
killer.
Program to Kill.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's up. It's a tie between that and Weird Scenes for me.
Yeah, they both are really good.
Although that after revisiting that pedophiles book of his, I do have a lot of respect for that as well. It's more of a pamphlet, but
He's
In the beginning of Program to Kill, they have the
the pedophiles.
is it just a section of it, or is it the whole thing? Because now I need to revisit all of Program to Kill. I just started reading it again recently because I rediscovered Richard Ramirez had a one-on-one meeting with Anton LaVey before his onslaught of terror in Los Angeles, and that's one thing I've been tracking in my Anatomy of a Satanic Panic is all these matters relative to LaVey and Aquino and the wake of terror and satanic murders that seems to follow those guys. But no, it might be the whole thing. I'll have to. I don't remember off the top of my head because I just started rereading these books again recently because McGowan is definitely it's what got me into this world reading Dave
Same.
McGowan.
Yeah. Laurel Canyon was my door in, and then the rest is history. But there's a small section on the pedophiles at the beginning of Program to Kill. There's also a John Benet Ramsey section in
That's right.
Program to Kill.
That's right.
And if you go to Dave's blog, he has something about Abraham Lincoln. He has something about the Boston Marathon bombing. He has something
That's
about
what he was working
fantastic.
on when he died, too, right?
Yeah,
That's
I mean,
fantastic.
just
That
a
might
wealth
have
of-
got him the cancer dart or whatever the
Yeah.
fuck it was.
Right.
But yeah, Wheezy from What Is Truth podcast. I don't know if you're familiar with him, JJ. He extensively covers the Abraham Lincoln stuff, and he's got some pretty cool theories of his own. I just had him on. It's been a while now, but I'm about to drop that episode. I mean, if you want to talk to somebody about Lincoln, He's the guy.
I will have to check that out, sir. So when I say Dave McGowan got me to these matters, like I do mean that. He radicalized me in every respect. So I was listening to an interview he did years ago, like circa 2010 or 2011. He's doing maybe it was more like 2013 now I think about it. He's doing an interview on weird scenes when he's writing it on his blog or whatever on his Facebook as well. He's posting all the stuff when he's writing the book, before he wrote the book. He's doing interviews on these topics, and someone asked him, said, "Well, why don't you apply these same concepts to these other music scenes, like grunge scene or whatever?" And he's like, "Oh no, it probably fits. It's probably the same thing." But he's like, it's just not my scene. I was a big fan of the hippie scene," he says, and I was like, I listened to it. I was like, "Well, I'm a huge fan of the grunge scene," so once he published the book, there I immediately purchased it and read it, and applied those same principles and salient characteristics he identifies in weird scenes inside the canyon to the Seattle grunge counterculture, and it literally is the same thing in every respect.
90s hip hop also.
Well, there you go, sir. Now you're talking ancient alien cargo cults of a Wesley Snipes and Dwight York variety, because Dwight York is the man who invented hip hop, and all hip hop since all pays tribute to him, even though he's sitting in Florence Supermax prison for child sex trafficking in Deadland.
Yikes.
Yeah.
So
you're not familiar with that group? No?
I am.
Which one?
The New Wabians. Wesley Snipes funded it with his Blade money.
I heard you talk about it. That might be it.
Yeah.
Like I've never really looked into it myself.
They built a 400-acre, much like these big things that are being built in huge acres in these cults in Oregon. They moved down to Georgia on some mounds and built an ancient Egyptian pyramid city on it, and complete with their own nightclub. No, not licensed, but it was complete with their own nightclub.
What the fuck? Oh my
This is why Wesley Snipes went to prison for all that tax evasion with his Blade money. But they busted him at this Dwight York at the same time, and Dwight York is literally who invented hip hop. He was Africa Boombata's producer, and Jay-Z's first music video he appears in is at the New Wabian headquarters in Brooklyn, New York. I believe it's 1985. It's a rap song. I don't remember who it is, but you hear tribute to all these folks, like the 2004 Grammy performance by the band Outkast. Their whole ancient alien cargo cult Native American theology and dance they did there, or their dance is all the theology of the New Wabian nation of Dwight York and Wesley Snipes.
Did they mention that Tupac is gay?
Well, let's be honest about the situation. Have you seen that video of him when he was a teenager?
Yeah, for sure.
I haven't.
Oh
well,
my
we knew
God.
that, but is Andre a fucking Scientologist? Andre?
He's
No,
a New
he's in the
Wabian.
New Wabian.
Yeah, he's a so him and Snipes were referenced in 2000 in a local Macon, Georgia newspaper as being quote unquote millionaires that are financing the cult.
Okay. I'm gonna have to look into that. Could be an episode to do too. So I love the
But all
the
these
music stuff.
cults, all these ancient alien cargo. Oh, I apologize for stepping on you there, Colby.
You're good.
All these ancient alien cargo cults, they all get along, right? So you see in that 2004 Grammy performance where they're doing this full scale, they went full blown New Wabian on everybody and had to apologize for it later. You see Jack Black giving the introduction to the whole performance in a very L. Ron Hubbard like fashion because he is a Scientologist.
That's not the one where he said "Hell, Satan," is it?
No, that's a different matter altogether. But Scientology is Satanism, in every respect of Satanism. So, yeah, I know it predates Satan, the terms of this modern ideas of Satanism. But everyone that I've collected a number of quotes from everyone from Buckland to Gardner and Wicca to Kino de LaVey to all these people, and they're talking about how Crowley is more Satanism than LaVey ever could be. They're talking about how L. Ron Hubbard's more Satanism than, because he breaks off of the Agape Lodge of the OTOs. So all of these things are Crowleyan Thelemic offshoots, and they all recognize it internally.
Did you happen to catch that Christmas movie last year where Jack Black was the devil?
That's right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, that was freaky, right?
I think Colby walked in on me trying to watch it, and I felt like I got caught with my pants down or something.
did.
I was like, I'm not watching it, I swear.
She was
That's
watching
awesome.
it, and then I tried watching it.
It looked terrible. Was
I
it
think
as
I
bad
fell
as it
asleep.
looked?
Yeah.
Oh, it was worse than it looks. It was horrific.
Well, speaking of Scientology,
And horrific.
let's move into the topic of the episode, which is the Twin Ray cult. And I'm going to give a brief story about something that happened to me, or just kind of how I heard of them. And then I just kind of stopped thinking about them because it seemed like they had moved on from Ashland. But this weirdo fucking couple got this storefront in Ashland. And there's a lot more to this, which Lola will tell us about here in a second. But I make soap for a living. And one of the people that was cutting soap for me, she's like 22 years old. And she's telling me about how one of her friends went out to the woods with these people and they made him do DMT. And I didn't know, like, made them do what that meant. But
Right.
apparently, we're going to get into a lot of that today. And
Sounds like
so
assault.
I had heard about this. Oh, for sure. Dosing somebody without their knowledge, it's one of the worst things you can do to a person.
Oh,
Just
dude, for
tripping
sure.
balls too, like that. What a like if you were gonna get accidentally dosed with anything, would you want it to be DMT?
No.
Fuck no. I'd rather it be anything. I'd rather get overdosed on fucking aspirin, sleeping pills, fucking literally anything.
I would
I
definitely
don't
take
disagree.
I would take the DMT over the aspirin myself,
Uh,
but I would
No.
want to know first. That's the fucked up part.
Yeah, the dosing thing, that's out of control. That's never appropriate in
Well, they
any
called it
environment. Of
an elixir, and
course it did.
it to me seems like they had hijacked like a modern day ayahuasca delivery system because you had to take a pill and an elixir. And so what I'm thinking is the serotonin reuptake inhibitor.
Yeah,
Or
the
no,
MAOI
not
inhibitor.
SSRI. Yeah, say that again, JJ.
MAOI
The
inhibitor.
MAOI inhibitor, not the antidepressants, like I said. But I think that would have been in the pill, maybe something like Syrian rue. There's a lot of ways to get those
Sure.
parts of your body
So,
shut off so that when you drink the elixir, it's not just like that 15-minute trip you get when you smoke it. This is people out in the middle of the woods having full on psychedelic experiences, and then they're like shoved back onto a bus to go back down to the hotel in the city of Ashland. And it just seemed really careless to me. And then Lola sent me an article when we were talking about doing this episode. And sure enough, that's exactly what was going on, according to this journalist that uncovered a lot of this stuff. She talked to ex members and stuff. But Lola, would you like to just kind of give like a general intro into who these people are and what they were able to do?
Okay. Um, well, so, oh, sorry. I'm new to this, so.
You're okay.
well, that's all right. May I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
This just want to be clear because you said your associations with me before, Colby. This isn't a recruiting situation, is it? You're not recruiting into them. I left Colby. I left the Mormons 22 years ago, but I'm not going back.
Well, this is an upgrade, JJ.
It's an improvement. I see. Okay.
Yeah.
She just wants to give you some elixir, JJ. We
Right.
can FedEx it to you. And
I've
then
done some. Yeah, I've done some. Like I'm into the drugs for sure. Now I'm into these ideas. I like to party.
Just you want to know what you're taking.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's the unintentional dosing. I want to be, and I've read about these retreats. They sound like quite an experience.
Well, it sounds like they dose you and then they put you on a fucking Greyhound back to send you back.
No,
into
it's just
town
like it's just like a
tripping
shuttle
balls.
bus, but these people have just had hour-long breakthrough psychedelic trips. You don't just shove someone on a bus and drive them to a hotel after that experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. What are you supposed to do after you get to the hotel? Go sit in the hot tub and just act like everything's cool, hunky dory?
Right. What's the end game? What's the
What
end
is
game of
the
this
end
process?
game? Yeah, exactly. Well, like, give us a setup here.
Well, with the retreats, I just know more about the ones at the property that they bought from really prominent Scientologists, like super high up in the church, personally named by Miscavige back in the day. Anyways, we could talk more about them too, but
Yeah.
they have this property where they were doing their retreats in Ashland, and they would dose everybody, have them up all night, and then in the morning is when they would sell them their trinkets or their holy waters or all of their little, whatever things while these people are sleep deprived, completely out of it.
Holy water.
Yes.
It's like the theme park. Disneyland gets you with all the the gift stores on the way out. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And they also they would do stuff like one person, the main guy, Sanandaji, puking up diamonds while everybody's tripping.
The fuck?
Yeah.
Are these Caucasity people or what are they? Indians?
I say they sound
No.
Hindu.
So
Their names.
they're he's Australian. His
Okay.
real name is Harley Forrester, and she is from Florida, and her name's Mia Therese Duchel or Putney.
Just a regular old white lady.
You
from-
can find
yeah.
this bitch on IMDb probably.
Yeah, she's a B-list actress.
Before her
Typical.
big awakening or rebirth
Yes.
or whatever. We'll get to that. So,
So
yeah, tell us about them and then maybe how they came to be in Ashland, because from what I understand, that was around 2020 when they moved.
Mm-hmm.
So
and
Yeah.
were
just
they,
to clarify, this is all taking place in Oregon. They met in Oregon?
No, they met they say they met in Egypt outside of the Giza pyramid.
Okay,
Wow.
that sounds fantastic.
That's great.
Where did they really meet? 7-Eleven here in Oregon? Ashland?
Van Nuys. They met in Van Nuys.
Right.
Oh, they were living in
Squalor.
in
The
Calabasas,
Valley of LA.
California.
Oh, Yeah, it was somewhere in LA, right?
They weren't. She was in LA for a while. Yeah, she went to Hollywood Hills High.
Yeah. She was living in the valley at some point. I don't know if it was Van Nuys, but it was somewhere
Yeah.
down there in the valley of,
Mm-hmm.
you know, not exactly a nice place of northern Los Angeles.
Well,
so they're
she was in an episode of Nip Tuck. We were just talking about that show earlier.
Oh,
That
Oh,
article.
I missed that.
It like listed a few of her bigger roles, even though they're tiny ass guest spots on like B-level shows. So, yeah, I mean, it gets weird with her. Cause
Yeah, well, what I was implying with the valley circumstance was she's probably doing porn, right? Because that's where all the porn industry is in Los Angeles, is the valley. I'm just saying, if she's a B, I didn't know she's a B rated. I didn't miss that part of her IMDb and her points there. But when I saw her coming from the valley, I mean, what is this lady? Did they get this at a porn shoot? They recruited this lady? You know what I mean? That's what I was thinking, at least, right?
I'm willing to entertain that idea for selfish reasons.
Her family's extremely wealthy and pretty prominent, especially her stepdad, Michael Putney. He's a big time television host.
really.
Yeah.
So do
she-
you think she may have intelligence ties just based on?
Oh, he definitely does.
He does.
The stepdad, yeah.
the
Okay.
stepdad does.
So
Yeah.
Apple don't usually fall
He's
far
a
from
political
step
reporter, Miami, Florida. You can look him up. Pretty big, and he's like Supreme Court appointed to the Judicial Management Council. He's a specialist in Cuban political issues. He was the last guy to interview Jimmy Hoffa, which is,
What the
I don't know what to
fuck?
make of
Wow.
that, but that's kind of random.
Somebody tell Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
You know, I took a brief you look at this dude's Wikipedia and, the source of all information on the interwebs, but, they left out all these details. All these Cuban aspects are very fascinating to me because it seems like all the parapolitics stuff does focus back around these same lines of ongoing hood rat shit from that era of the Kennedy Cuban situation.
Yeah.
And this guy's got some interesting credits for sure.
He's an actor too. Hosts
I see it.
a TV show.
What do you think the Judicial Management Council does? What's that about?
I don't know. I have to look more into that.
It sounds kind of obscure though, doesn't
It
it?
does, yes.
Like who's managing the judges that are elected and appointed? Like what do we have managers for this for? Like I'm unfamiliar with what that would do.
Yeah, same. Same.
So what about like him?
The
partner.
Harley.
Yeah. Does he have an accent and everything? Like
He
is
has an
he-
accent.
Is
yeah.
he full Vegemite sandwich, or is he like a poser, like spiritual? guru?
She's the poser. She has an English accent now.
Well, because
Oh,
it's not
nice.
it's because it's not her anymore. So she said she went into a coma and one of the
Meningitis.
12 council entered her. It's no longer her, and now she's this
Oh boy.
new person,
Okay.
and that's why she talks like that.
Okay.
She woke from a this is her story. She was in a 6-day coma. She awoke on 10/10/10, the date of enlightenment or great or whatever the fuck they called it, and she's now speaking in an English accent. And she told her own mother, "I'm your mother now." because I'm the divine mother or some bullshit.
She,
And then these reporters went when they started making a ruckus, people looking into them, they she ended up fucking suing. I think it was Virgin Airlines, one of
Spirit
those
Oh no shit.
Spirit
Airlines.
Airlines, because she says she got meningitis on the airplane. So they made her fucking medical documents public, and then they see that these days she's literally up and talking when she's supposedly in this divine coma. And so right out the gate, you can tell that she's
What a
full of
Looney
shit.
Tune.
Yeah.
So she got
Well,
possessed by the spirit of Spirit Airlines.
I
And
think she may have been possessed by the spirits of Langley because looking at her father's bio, he's in Miami being a reporter at the height of that is the chief station that has the most agents of any station of all the CIA is that Miami station. It was actually one of the top employers of all of Miami at the time in the 70s and 80s.
so
So,
did she get this spirit meningitis before she met?
Yes.
So she was already on this path of becoming a spiritual lasagna before she met this guy.
In their timeline. But
oh
if
shit.
you actually look back what she was doing, she was like a rep for like Prada.
Oh,
She was
boy.
acting into like B movies
Nah.
while this is supposedly going on.
B
Oh,
movies
okay.
and P movies.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she reeks of being trafficked in some sort of modeling environment and pornography
Hmm.
situation.
Yeah.
Just the hallmark of her where she was at. That was my read on her take, like my take on it.
She's probably flashing her shit to everybody in town and then finally ended up
So maybe this
deciding
is
to be a
real
guru.
disassociation. I mean, if that's the case, you couldn't throw that out as a possibility that they got their hooks and fucking monarched this bitch. And she starts talking in this English accent and they just roll with it somehow. I mean, I'm just spitballing here, but
No, that's a good suggestion, man. I mean, she's born into it, perhaps, right?
it sounds like it. I mean, her dad's doing all this fucking Cuban shit and he's working for a CIA news station, it sounds like. I mean,
I would be interested to if there was a way to figure out if the stepdad was a Scientologist. Because basically the more you look into it, it's like Scientologists are backing them completely, fully, financially, in so many ways. And they've just rearranged a lot of the Scientology language, like, and rebranded it in a more sort of new age-ish kind of way. If that makes sense.
Makes sense to me.
yeah, I mean, they're most of these prominent cults that have been around for a while, they do spread their tentacles into other areas where you don't think you're a Scientologist, you're a twin ray, or I don't know what their
Uh,
devotees were called, but
for sure. They all work together, man. They all work together. For example, them Mormon fundamentalist girls back in 2019, they got murked down there south of El Paso by that Mexican cartel. They were doing nanny details in between Monterey and Albany for the Nexium cult, which is actually just the Albany chapter of the Process Church of the Final Judgment.
that's what they were doing. I've heard that
Yeah.
story. I didn't know that's what they were up to.
Yeah. Some of them young teenage girls were nannies. So they were murking some witnesses, if you ask me. Because here's what I see with this cult, also with all these weird retreats they're doing, right? Is the MK Ultra like experiments, and I think that has when MK Ultra went under in the 70s, it went to these cults, and because we already see the naval intelligence and CIA connections to all of these cults, including L. Ron Hubbard and gang, right? Jack Parsons, all of these folks. There's Michael Aquino, Special Forces PSYOP operations officer, reported directly to the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Numerous eyewitness reports saying that in an Army CID investigation. I believe it. So these are matters of national security, as they like to call them. And it's a Nazi law passed in 1947 here in America. You eradicated free speech. Free speech cannot exist with the National Security Act of 1947. When a few people can just stamp things national security and no one else hears about it, right? We deal a lot with these circumstances, but we deal a lot with these circumstances with these cults. And that Nexium cult had a neurosurgeon, lost his license, documented in public filings up in New York State. He was doing MK Ultra experiments on their cult members, forcing them to watch snuff films,
What
keeping their
Nexium?
eyes open, forcing them to watch snuff films,
No
doing sleep
way.
deprivation,
the
doing
fuck?
all this hemispheric brain testing, like the Zizian cult was doing, that death cult that was murking folks across America last year.
Oh my
So
god.
I think that's a repeating pattern I see with these ancient alien cargo cults who like to work together, is they like to do experiments on their people.
for sure.
I think it's more organized than it is, incidental, right?
Well, I did see some of the previous members or people that defected saying they were being videotaped.
Yep.
While they
Yeah.
were tripping balls.
Yeah, up in the on that property, that there was video cameras everywhere.
Yeah, you got some sick bastard like Lewis Jellian West sitting in the corner, like hunched in the corner because he's a huge fat guy, but hunched in the corner with a notepad, just taking notes too. You know what I mean?
100. Were they marketing these retreats like, have you ever seen Wanderlust? That movie with Jennifer Aniston and Paul Rudd. JJ, have you seen it?
Yeah.
You know when they go in the truth circle and they all have to drink this tea and it ends up being like ayahuasca or something like that, and they're all just tripping balls and getting dosed up and running around in the woods. Like, that's what it sounds like to me. Is that
That's the impression I
pretty much-
got. No, that's the impression I got. And it's very new agey. This whole situation is very new agey in their teachings, right?
Yeah, they talk. Their main thing is the golden age. They like to talk a lot about the golden age coming, and a lot of stuff about like biodivinity, and they mix a lot of like science terms with new age stuff. And that's another one
That's
of their
Scientology. I mean,
Yeah,
what you're describing to me is
exactly.
Scientology. So when you say, did they start at what, like 1996, right? When did
what.
they start?
Oh, I think they started like 2020.
Well, that's when they
They're
Oh,
moved
really?
fairly
here.
new, yeah.
There was that woman that article I was talking about earlier. She was the main person to be interviewed. It seemed like she was the biggest source, but she was saying that she had been with them pre 2020 before they moved, and she said getting this property for Lola. Do you want me to not say the name of this family?
No, you can say it.
Do you know who they are, JJ? The Newmans?
I was going to say that's the connection I was talking about back to 96 with this term golden age was through these Newman folks, right?
Yeah.
Who? Through the who?
Doug Newman.
Newman.
Yeah.
So it
So,
seems to me like they had started something smaller, and
yep.
whether they had that Scientology backing in the beginning or not, these members that were with them before they moved their shit to Ashland said that they were much more compassionate. They were like easy to work with. And then when they moved onto this property, and I'm going to actually show a picture of this because it's a trippy ass building that they were living in. I guess that changed the way they treated everybody, and they were just cold and distant. They had one woman, she was elderly and she had a lot of money, and she got in with them. They ended up taking so much money from her. It was like in the six digits, and then she bought like 10 shots of their elixir for 25 grand a piece. Her husband was going over this, and she left them some of her money when she died. And she had, what was it, pancreatic cancer, I think. And she ended up talking to them, and they told her that she wasn't spending enough time with them. That's why her cancer's getting worse. And she went on a retreat with a competitor of theirs, and her cancer came back pretty strong after she got back.
Uh-oh.
They told her that she was cursed and she needed to be spending more time with them. And I mean, I saw these videos of local Ashland people hated these fuckers, and they were
Sure.
all these Karens making videos bullying them, trying to get them to leave town, and they were like scouting out these fucking old folks homes for rich people who were like new age leaning with money. And this
Yeah.
one woman I talked about, I mean, she fully got exploited by them. I'm sure she's not the only case, but she was the notable one in this article.
Yeah, that was one of their programs, or like things that they said that they did was hospice. So they would have members going into hospice care and finding elderly, rich, dying people and trying to get them to sign over all their wealth.
Yeah, that's not creepy. That's not
Kenneth
creepy at all.
Copeland.
Yeah.
Kenneth Copeland. He does the same things.
Well, and speaking of Christian
Well, he also
shit,
cured COVID just by, exhaling, though, Julia. So we got to give him credit for that.
Oh my
that's
God.
like the Happy Science cult with their digital vaccines or spiritual
May
vaccines.
I ask something? Is it made known what was supposed to be in these elixirs? 25K?
The 25K one, I'm not sure. Is that
That
the
was
water?
that was an instance. That was they called it the elixir. I don't know if it was the same shit they gave to people
Because they
during
did
the.
have water that was supposedly from France, from the river where Jesus put his feet. But there was somebody here in Ashland who tested it,
Tap.
and it was, yeah, Ashland tap water.
It was Ashland Tap.
Well, that's
Okay.
better than the
Nice.
Lithia Creek shit water.
Oh my
But
god.
But the elixir they said they were getting from a woman in Ibiza, where Harley, the Sanandaji, was spending a lot of time before he became part of Twin Ray.
So it seemed like to me when I looked at it, like these Newman people were more involved in these matters than is led on to believe publicly.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know what I did with it. He was involved in, the Newman fellow was involved in a lawsuit back in 2002 because I was
Yeah,
just doing a cursory search. Do you have that lawsuit?
I don't have that lawsuit, but do you know Reed Slatkin? Did you come across Reed Slatkin at all with
No, I
Newman?
got lost on this earlier lawsuit to be quite honest with you
Okay.
because
Well, tell me
because
about it.
well, because when I saw that golden age thing, it
Mm-hmm.
immediately reminded me of Scientology. Because in 1996 is when they started this new campaign of the golden age of tech, as they call it in Scientology. This new modern era of miscavige, tyrannical nonsense, and money making schemes. Like you're describing with this half new age Scientology science terms, that is exactly what the golden era of tech is, right? Is this new concept of Scientology where they're making up these new concepts and it's literally the same terminology. And that dude was involved in a similar cult situation, some lawsuit back in 2002 that seems to be like he's hiring folks or funding things these like he's doing here in this Ashland situation in more present day using Scientology. And this wouldn't be obscure. All these Scientologists do it. All of these and I mean, they're really ceremonial magicians. All these ceremonial magicians think they can do it better than the one they learned it from, right? From
Mm-hmm.
LaVey to Crowley, from Parsons to Crowley to all these people, right? All Elron to Crowley and Parsons, right? So Aquino to all of these. Aquino is the best, if you ask him. He loves the smell of his own farts. That man did. And so my point being there is they're always doing offshoots. There's always offshoots, these egotistical driven offshoots. This Newman fella seems like he might be doing that same thing with these Scientology tactics in his own offshoot fashion.
Definitely.
And then really because the one thing I always look at when I look at these cults, I'm like, who's financing this? Like that OSHA cult, the one up there in Oregon, the Rosh Hashanis or whatever they were.
Rajneeshis.
There you go.
Julia calls
The
them the
first thing I
Rosh
said, I was like,
Queefies.
they built a. What's that, sir?
Julia calls them the Rosh Queefies.
Yeah,
Rush
that's a good
Queefies.
name for them because I can't ever remember. I just call them the OSHA cult.
The queefs.
That's a good name for them. That's what they did to the state of Oregon and everything up there and the laws
They
around it.
queefed
So
it.
They queefed
real
it
big
all
time.
you can eat buffet.
They like
Dude.
the smell of their own
Poison you.
queefs.
For sure, that's the largest bioterror attack on U.S. soil.
It's crazy too.
Right out of their
Where it
queef
happened, I
holes.
mean, that's just like a hop, skip, and
Yeah.
a jump away from where I grew up.
So the first time I seen that on that Netflix documentary because that was a cult I'd never heard of, was we didn't get those newspaper accounts or reports out east back in the 80s when that happened. So not to my recollections at least, but
Well,
the
that was local news only kind of thing when
yeah
it all
yeah
went
it didn't
down,
really make it. It didn't make it really national. Yeah,
and it was
which
the
is very.
largest bioterror attack.
There you go. Should make you wonder why are we not hearing about this nationwide, right? We got to hear about other nonsense. But the first time I seen the whole city they built, I'm like, all right, well, I've actually built cities in the Middle East. Been part of teams that went in the Middle East in the Air Force, established security while the other folks built the runways and stuff. I didn't build the runways. I did, set up security of the perimeters and stuff like that so folks could build, essentially a city in the middle of nowhere, which is what they did there. And I know the amount of manpower and money that goes into that. And I'm like, who in the world is financing this? You know what I mean? It ain't some cult folks just giving up their 10 and 20 grand to join the cult. You know what I mean? That may fund the 8 Rolls Royces homeboy had, but you know what I mean? Like someone's financing that. Do they had a legit runway there? Like, and one that could hold weighted aircraft. So what I'm saying is there was a lot of trafficking going on there, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the
'Cause there's,
Netflix documentary was disappointing. I mean, it did get the story out there, but it really
yeah.
didn't cover it at the angle that you could.
Oh, I agree.
And
I
those guys
agree.
have gone on to do some other stuff, the Duplass brothers, but
Um, the attorney for OSHA, the one that bumped out the Hindu lady that was in there first, the
oh,
really bitchy
Sheila?
one. Sheila, the one that bumped her out, the white lady. That was Paul. That was shit, what's his name? That was not Paul Rudd. Disregard. Ruddy. Al Ruddy's wife. Al Ruddy was a CIA dude who helped produce The Godfather with Bob Cocaine Evans.
Oh my god.
Yeah, she owned the Hotel Marmont,
What?
Chateau
Chateau
Marmont.
Marmont in the
Yeah,
Laurel Canyon area?
yeah.
Oh my god. JJ, where the fuck do you find this stuff?
The gutter where it
Ugh.
belongs.
Yeah, no shit. That's crazy.
So something I was gonna say, just so you could get like an idea of who these people were and what they were pushing. When Lola said they met in Egypt, or that was their story, but they came up, and Julia, this is gonna sound very familiar because of the twin flame cult, but they came up with this belief system where they were the reincarnation of Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, and they were the universe's first twin flame couple. Or do they call it
They're
twin
the
ray?
only twin ray.
But
There's many twin flames, but there's only one twin ray.
And it's
I
them.
like
Yeah.
it.
But
I
there's
like it. It's a
100
good marketing tool.
There's 144,000 twin flame couples, and the only way to do it is through them. Yeah. They oversee the whole thing, just like those twin flame cunts that Julia covered in an episode.
Well, have you heard of the twin flame?
Yes.
Because he said he was Jesus too.
He said he was Jesus. Yeah, he said he was Jesus.
Well, how do you know he's not? What's your proof?
I think he is.
You know
if you
what?
want to be Jesus, you are.
He very well could be. He also likes the smell of his own farts and queefs. But the problem is, JJ, is like when you get with somebody and you go, all right, we're twin rays or we're twin flames, and nobody can ever find their twin flame but through us. Like that's what the twin flame cult was doing. It sounds like these idiots are doing that too. It's like it gets to a point where you're putting people together in these couples together, and it's like they're not successful. It's always toxic. Like in the twin flame cult, they put some 18-year-old girl with this schizophrenic guy that was literally like anal digging and throwing his own shit all over his house. Yes.
Oh yeah.
And
she moved there.
I remember that.
Shit out of his anal.
Let me ask you this one, Julia.
House.
Have you seen the film Ghostbusters 2?
Yes.
Do you know at the beginning where Egon's doing his little scientific studies behind the glass when they're trying to recruit the team together, and he's monitoring a young girl with a dog, and he says, "Oh, now take away the dog." These are experiments where they're inducing this kind of trauma. I imagine is what you're describing.
Yeah, that's the thing. And when this girl came to them and was like, "Hey, I don't know if this is my twin flame."
I didn't mean to take away your dog. I didn't mean to take away your dog. If that's what y'all thought, I didn't mean to take away your dog. I'm talking about the film. He says take away the little girl's dog to induce trauma. That's hilarious that your dog was barking at the same time.
Oh yeah, I don't know what's wrong with it, but no, I'm just saying like it's such a toxic relationship though to be like, because they would say, you know why he's anal digging? Because you haven't done your shadow work. That's what they would tell her.
It's always your fault. It's always looking.
That he was anal digging.
It was her fault.
I just wanted to make sure that y'all didn't think I was hollering, shut that dog up.
No, I got you. But yeah, I mean, like...
These sound like experiments, though, right? As far as you're saying they're putting these people together that are clearly a fucking nightmare, right? So, like, that's what I'm saying. When you see that in this MK Ultra experiments as depicted in the film Ghostbusters 2, where Egon's saying, like, give the little girl a dog, now take the girl's dog away from her, right? You know, to induce the trauma to study that, right?
You know, that's... The second Ghostbusters, in my opinion, is highly underrated because I love it.
We almost weren't friends anymore, Julia, because you were going to say that was a bad film. I was like, nope, I'm out.
No, JJ, I love it so much.
I love that movie. I think it's just as good as the first.
Even the first one has that element with Bakeman doing the ESP when you're shocked and pissed off.
Absolutely, dude.
It could bring out
absolutely.
So yeah, like Dan Aykroyd definitely has his hand on all that.
Dan Aykroyd, according to JJ, I think, or maybe wasn't it when we did a show together? Somebody said he was a real asshole.
Oh, that was me.
Oh.
No, when we were doing that show, he did. Someone commented he bought the home of Mama Cass. That is true,
That's right.
He starred opposite Tuesday Weld in the 1995 film Feeling Minnesota.
That's right. Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. And Courtney Love.
Yeah. And
Courtney Love.
Cameron Diaz.
Oh!
That was a good movie. Forgot
Well,
all Vincent D'Onofrio's in that too. Gomer fucking
it
Pyle.
was a movie.
I thought it was pretty cool. I was probably a kid when I saw it.
No, I know. I'm just joking with you, sir. I enjoyed it as well. It's my commentary on how anti-Tuesday Weld I am.
Oh, me
I,
too.
how fucking old was
I
she
had
in
no idea
that?
who she was when I watched that film. Like, when I learned who she was later, I'm like, holy shit, I remember that lady.
She had to be pretty old in that movie.
Well, she was Aykroyd's love interest. I think they're in their 60s, right, or something like that, or 50s.
Oh, God, I'm gonna have to rewatch that. Lola, get us back on
Yeah.
track.
Um,
If you can bear that responsibility. We strayed into the weeds.
Right.
What's the last thing we said? Oh, they were the only twin rays. That's how we got on
We
that.
were talking about how they were mixing together couples, and it was an experiment.
yeah, I don't know about the couple mixing, but I
Or maybe
think
that was
they
Twin
did.
Flames. Maybe that was Twin
Yeah.
Flames when we were talking about that.
Hmm.
Okay.
I think that the Twin Ray people definitely ripped it off from the Twin Flame people who ripped it off from somebody else. Like there's this other pseudo spiritual bitch who came up with this Twin Flame thing. And I think that's what these people do. They probably like hang out in the, you know, Reddit threads of new age shit or whatever other platform you could be in. They just see what's hitting hard
Small
and
circle.
then
Oh,
they spin off on their
Small
own way
circle.
with it.
Well,
for sure, but they don't need Reddit, sir, because when Marshall Applewhite of the Heaven's Gate cult and his alleged nurse from the mental institution, when they got out of that mental hospital in Texas, they hightailed it to Oregon, the coast of Oregon. I think
Yep.
we discussed this in our last cult show. They knew exactly where to go recruit from another cult, the
You
Holy
talking about
Rollers.
Heaven's Gate?
Yeah, so there was a cult named the Holy Rollers, led by Edmund Credfield. They were in, I think, Corvallis back in the 1920s, and it was a sex cult. Don't they're always a sex cult, right? So he's
Well, when
bagging
you
all the
say
women in the cult.
Corvallis, I hear sex cult. Just
I mean, it should go hand in hand.
hmm
But even there, they were like, "We've had enough of you," so they threw him out to the coastline, and I
Of
can't remember the name of the
Oregon.
town.
probably out in the Newport area. I don't know if it would have been Newport,
Yeah,
but that's
did we not
parallel.
discuss this on the last cult show? Who I was talking about this recently with somebody.
I don't think you talked about it with us. Did you?
Holy smokes! Well, stand by, please. Let me tell you about the Holy Rollers real quick and how these people know each other, because I just want to get the name of the town right. So when they got kicked out of Corvallis, I believe it is, and then they got banished to this town out on the coast, which was basically no one lived there, right? And when that was going to be 1920. Uh,
When?
this is great airtime. I apologize. This would be 1920s. So they get
1920s.
yeah, they get banished to this town. The rest of the cult leader takes one of the girls, goes to Seattle. He gets murdered on Pike's Place, Eben Creffield. The rest of the cult goes out to it was Corvallis, and they got banished to a town on the coast. And so that town, however, this goes about 50 years later, Marshall Applewhite knows to go to that town on the coast to go recruit the offspring of the Holy Rollers. That is the core group of the Heaven's Gate cult, is the descendants of this cult.
What?
I
Oh
think there
my.
may
Yeah,
have been some spillover from the Rajneeshis too, if I'm not mistaken on that.
that that's very possible
With
as
the
well,
Heaven's
sir.
Gates. And I mean, there's a lot of like they're probably middle aged by now, but a lot of the younger couples that were with the Rajneeshis live in Ashland. Like,
Yeah,
I
you know what
Oh,
happened to them? You know what happened
really?
to them? They got put in nursing homes, and then the fucking Twin Ray people came to get them out of the fucking home, wheeling their fucking wheelchair asses over to the retreat, dosing them, robbing them, what, sexualizing them, whatever.
They're always doing something sexual, right? So you were spot
Something.
on, sir. It wasn't Newport. It was just out there in Waldport,
Waldport, that
Oregon.
is a tiny town still to this day.
So
That
in
is nuts.
1972, oh, go ahead.
I think it's
Are you
you.
talking to me?
I don't know. I thought somebody was talking. I just didn't. I'm looking at a different screen. I couldn't see the
Oh,
screen
I
with me on
just
it.
said that's nuts. Like all these Oregon cults. Like
Yeah.
why? Like what?
So
What?
Ken Kesey's from Oregon.
it seems to indicate like a network, right? These folks somehow communicate amongst each other,
Yeah.
right? So in September of 1975, Marshall Applewhite and Bonnie Nettles gave a lecture at the Waldport Best Western whatever conference room or whatever at the hotel on UFOs, which was attended by roughly 150 people. In the following days, an estimated 20 residents, nearly 1 out of 30 people in the town, abandoned their homes and possessions and joined the Heaven's Gate. Those people were the descendants of that Holy Rollers.
Oh my fuck.
Yeah.
And
And to
then
get even weirder, Edmund Crefeld was murdered up in Pike's Place Market during the renovations of Pike Place Market in Seattle. They were selling little bricks. You could, sponsor the renovation, get your name on a brick, right, on the walkways or whatever. The Heaven's Gate cult sponsored the brick at the exact site Edmund Crefeld was gunned down by one of the cult members. True story.
Jeez, oh Pete.
So there's a continuity of these whole activities amongst these underground of American society. So these folks all know each other. Long story short, I appreciate y'all entertaining my long-winded story. These folks, there's a method of communication long before Reddit, sir, that we don't understand.
Yeah.
Well, Harley, the Scientology guy, was underneath another guy who has a sort of similar cult from New Zealand. So before he met Mia, he was under this guy called Christ of Melchizedek, who's still going strong.
Ooh, that sounds Mormon to me.
Yeah.
Big time.
Melchizedek.
Yeah. And it seems like he kind of like trained him up in all the sort of speak that he has now.
Did he have a twin ray?
He didn't. No.
Flame?
No.
He had nothing. So
Just him.
So the twin ray thing came from them two putting their ideas together. Okay.
Yes.
So these folks move into Ashland, Oregon, which is pretty, this was a big thing to move in there as far as the townsfolk were going. This was a surprise.
Well, I could tell you just from having lived here when it happened, they certainly weren't welcomed by the
You were saying that, yeah, there was a big
run-of-the-mill
outrage.
town folk from the very fucking get-go, especially when these
I was going to
rumors
say, yeah.
of the DMT shit started floating around, and that got out quick.
But they took over a huge ranch, it seemed like, right? So was the outrage immediately when they moved into the ranch?
Well, the ranch also was previously built by like another cult called the Circle of Terrain, and it was a husband and wife, and she was channeling her miscarried son.
Oh, for fuck's
Oh, that's fun.
sake.
Yeah. And they were the ones who like built the crazy ranch up there.
Yeah, because that's huge, right? It was like 96 acres.
It's humongous, and the Newmans own it. So they sold it to the Newmans, and then Newmans gave it to Twin Ray, but now it's back to the Newmans. And
these Newman people, they're suspect. They are definitely suspect.
Yeah. So, yeah, definitely.
So how many people were part of the miscarriage cult?
I don't know. Not many, I don't think.
So what are they? Is this it?
Yeah,
Wait, this is luxurious as fuck.
it is. Yeah.
They put like sacred
It's a
Oh, the
geometry.
property's amazing.
The sacred geometry is used in the construction of this thing, I was reading.
Yeah.
It looks like somewhere you'd go, like in the Bahamas with a group of 28 people and just shack up for the week. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Oh,
like
it's
a
fancy.
luxury resort.
It is fancy. Yeah.
So what are they selling to get people involved in this shit?
Slinging that rock,
The
Julia.
promise of a twin flame, the promise of spiritual enlightenment, the promise of what? Because I feel like you have to be, other than living in the nice mansion.
Well, that
In Oregon.
144,000 twin flames, it reminded me of the Jehovah's Witnesses. I think they have 144,000 limit in heaven or some shit. Am I wrong about
Yeah,
that?
the saved ones, right? They're the ones that'll be saved, right?
Yeah, it's a lot like the twin flame cult. These packages that they sell people, they're priced at like $2,222, $3,333, and
To go stay there.
That's exactly what I was looking up right now. I was like, how much are they charging for these things? How are you financing these establishments, right? Because I mean, how much can you really make on that? Are they a nonprofit? I guess I didn't look at that.
Yes.
Do they get nonprofit? Yeah, that helps.
Yes.
That definitely helps.
And they have like at least 4 different LLCs. And
I did see that.
yeah, and some of them are like closed down, and then they'll start a new one. They have a whole bunch of different names that they've gone by too. So to me, it seems like they're not as important, and there's a lot of stuff going on through them, like laundering and shit like that. Is what I'm thinking.
Well, Well, what you're describing is exactly how Scientology operates with this
Yeah.
umbrella network of LLCs to do exactly what you're describing.
Yep.
So,
Yeah.
But to
it
pay
does seem that way for sure. I agree. It's this, and again, that's why I was focusing on that Newman family because they have a history of doing some other weird cult stuff before this, or they seemingly finance it, right? Like in other
Right.
places.
And he was also partners and best friends with Reed Slatkin, who ran one of the largest Ponzi schemes, like to it, back then in 2000 was considered one of the largest Ponzi schemes ever. And he was an ordained minister of Scientology, and he worked at the Celebrity Center. Him and Doug
I've
Newman.
heard that name, I guess, but
Yeah.
I was he a software guy?
He was one of the first founders of Earthlink.
There we go. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And him
Which
and
is
Newman
interesting,
go way
right?
back. Yeah.
Because it's always Scientology. Much like that guy, there's a number of Scientologists that were at the early onset of these interwebs activities, and other folks who were occultists, not the least of which is Ghislaine Maxwell's sister and her brother-in-law. And
Yep.
her brother-in-law is the son of Jack Parsons, the number two guy from his little Suicide Squad. So there's a lot of this. I'm always creeped out by the intersection of these occultists and the interwebs we use to do these podcasts.
Yeah.
So to pay $2,222, what am I getting in return? Like, what is the promise?
The greatest DMT experiments of your life.
I don't know if they're
I
advertising
did say
that,
experiments
though.
on purpose because it's an experiment and an experiment.
Definitely an experiment. But so it's like what? They help you reach spiritual enlightenment?
Yeah, and they also advertise themselves as like divine beings.
So just the privilege of hanging out with
Yes,
them
that's
is
part of
going
it.
to
Yeah.
cost me 2,222.
Oh, that'll get you like a vial of the holy water.
Oh my god!
To
So
hang out with them, you gotta. It's like
oh
33,300.
wow!
Oh, shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you got to pay 33. This is why JJ, and don't get me wrong,
I'm in the wrong business, Julia. I'm in the
It
wrong
says-
business
Me
altogether.
too, obviously.
For $3,333, you could get a necklace, or for $8,888, you could go to a retreat. But then the
Yeah.
packages just start getting higher and
Yeah.
higher.
So
It
you
has
can't
certain
even
amounts
go
of
to-
access, and you pay for all of it.
So to get to the retreat, you got to spend at least 8,000 something or other dollars.
Yeah. Or be a grunt. Like I guess they do have people that don't have money that kind of
Oh my god!
just work and wipe their butts and do
Oh
all
my
that.
God.
for
I
free.
saw that. Yeah, they got the Scientology slave system enacted there on that
Yes.
ranch.
They got like from Coming to America, like the royal penis is clean now.
No, so in Scientology, if you want to go through, you can get clear by spending like 250 grand, or you can be one of their slaves and you can get all the services for free. But
Yeah.
then you don't get paid for anything, and then you get a clean royal penises also in your spare time.
Yeah.
That's not on the clock though. That's a hobby. You gotta do that on hobby time.
This is what baffles my mind, and I get it. Not everyone is religious or whatever, and like I do consider myself to be a Christian, but it's like I just don't think you need to have anything extra to have a relationship with God if you want one. Like there are many free ways to have a relationship with God without doing like the second money gets involved, I'm like, fuck you immediately. Fuck you, bye. Like you cannot like why are you how do you
Well,
get to the point where you sell people God? or
Well, they're selling them
spirituality?
as God. This is secular humanism. They're selling them they can achieve a God status through their spiritual awakening. This is the same as what the Mormons do and Scientology does, right? You can achieve a God status or a God-like, almost like God, basically, right? And it's secular humanism where they're just, it's all egotistical driven. They're, I took a brief look at what they're selling. That was my take on it. This is all the same old nonsense of we can teach you to be your own God and, that kind of deal,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Is this them?
Yeah, that's them. And they try to finish each other's sentences, but
Oh,
always
that's
miss
gotta
the mark.
be hilarious.
It's hilarious.
Oh my god! And they can't. They're not even doing a good job. They're
No,
not
they
even-
aren't doing a good job. That's
come
yeah.
on.
The acting's
They
bad.
can't even write a fucking script before they
And you-
get on.
And you can tell that he hates her too.
Oh my god! It's just like Twin Flames. Babe, I can't hear any of this. What you're playing? Hun, I think you got to do share sound.
I did. You
Oh,
can't
it's
hear
not
it?
coming through. It's not coming through. JJ, can you hear it?
It's really
No,
fucking
ma'am.
quiet on my end too.
I had that same problem in my earlier show on Zoom. You had to go through I'm not familiar with it. My first
Share
time today, really in a
sound.
while. Yeah, there was a share sound function somewhere. I'm new. I also don't know what to do on Zoom. I went through this. I was just doing a show with Ron from New England talking Idaho 4 stuff.
Oh, nice.
Right, this consciousness that's communicating now in this body.
Here, let me turn up my volume. Oh, it's all the way up.
And this consciousness is in this body.
I can hear
And
it.
so there's this telepathic, we don't have to speak most times. We know exactly what's being spoken because there's no second person. It's just one being in two bodies.
So that's one. And this is another one where they're talking about aliens, I think.
Yes, we have had
Fuck
many
yeah, aliens.
encounters. We've sitting on councils with different star races from different committees and different signets. Indeed, we've assisted in many different ways off planets. We've been on countless ships and had physical experiences of the different planetary systems that we've incarnated from, and that we check in frequently. And then we travel to different realms and realities. And so
How many views is this getting?
That's the thing. It's like, I just
1.1.
Oh, by the way, I want to correct. It's 144 million twin flame pairings in this universe.
Well,
You're right there with you're right with the Hovas though. They were 144,000.
They got to dress like Jesus too. They got loincloths on and shit. She's literally dressed like Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? It's like Halloween.
Lola, you sent me a video where they were like doing the finish each other's sentences thing. You guys talk.
Yeah, it's pretty
I'm
funny.
gonna try to find that.
So you said they moved into town in 2020?
Yes.
This couple?
They've had 5 years doing this, and they still can't get a script written.
In 2021, they reported 1.9 million in revenue.
What was his background again? From Australia, right? He's got some sort of Australian down under story.
Yeah, he's from Australia, and he was with this other guy, guru guy, Christoph Melchizedek.
That's right. I meant to look more at that Miss Melchizedek fella, because the one thing I looked at this guy, he reminds me of another cult leader who died around that same time as you're describing, allegedly died around the same time you're describing as this guy came about. So I sent Colby a picture of him. His name's J.J. Bryan. He was a leader of a Process Church offshoot cult. But more importantly, he was the former assistant to the National Security Advisor to the president.
Whoa.
Yeah, he looks I sent Colby a picture. He looks exactly like this guy. This dude's spooked out. Before he started that Process cult, but while he was still working for that Mormon National Security Advisor, Brent Scowcroft, this dude got busted over in Libya doing spook activity.
He looks really nice, though. Look at those eyes.
He looks like
a K-pop
Yeah,
guy
he
or
looks
something.
like he sings K-pop. I was literally about to say, look, we're twin rays. Did you hear that? She finished my fucking sentence. Something that these two assholes can't do even after 5 years of being together. I can't.
That might be Homeboy's twin ray right there. That was Amanda Bynes' twin ray. They were BFFs.
Oh, that's that's the guy you were talking about the other day.
Yeah.
Woo!
I don't remember where I heard you talking about. Oh, I think
That's
So you
J.J.
think
Bryan
he's
right
the
there.
one who worked her into what she is today.
Yeah, so I think she's the member. I think she's the leader of that cult sect that he started, of the Process.
She's crazy looking too. She looks like a fucking
With the Sharpie
extraterrestrial.
eyebrows
Yeah.
and-
Big time. But this dude, this twin fella looks a lot like J.J. Bryan. If you ask me, I don't have the comparison. He's a bit of a mystery character. He doesn't really look any kind of ethnicity. He kind of mixes into a different. He's a good spook.
He also he's like a lot harder to find background stuff on. People haven't been quite as successful as with Mia, but he was like, before he erased his Facebook, he was taking pictures, a lot of pictures in Ibiza, where that woman he got the elixir from is supposedly, and just jet setting all over the place. But he must have been very young at that point. He's a lot younger
Yeah.
than her.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
He's a lot younger than Mary Magdalene.
Yeah.
My God, JJ.
I
did
don't
you
think
see that
JJ Bryan
shit?
died. It was during the cough times. They're just like, oh, he died. He's dead.
Did they say
You know
that's
what I
what
mean?
killed him?
They never did say what killed him.
You just
And
assumed that back then if you're a normie.
he allegedly dies in Florida, which is a state where the sunshine law is a public interest, and no reports. So when I saw, I'm not saying it's, I just think it's interesting he shares a comparison to this guy. I would like to know this guy's background more, especially that Melchizedek cult. But, when I see all these cults working together, at some point in time, there's got to be a smaller circle of people that are comprising these elements of perpetrating these things. At least that's my opinion.
So, I mean, do these guys go out to, like, Buffalo Wild Wings and shit? Like, would we run into these assholes? Like, this is where we live.
Not
Where
anymore.
do they function? Do they go out?
You
They
could run
did
into
when
the
they were
Newmans.
here, yeah.
What about the hotel? Which hotel were they using downtown there?
The Ashland Springs Hotel. So that's another thing. All the people who came to their retreats, they stayed in Newman-owned hotels. They ate at Newman-owned restaurants. They went to Newman-owned spas. Like, that was part of the deal.
Creepy.
Yeah.
And this Newman guy is a Scientologist.
Oh,
Big
like,
time.
yeah,
Big
big
time.
time. And it's also interesting that Reed Slatkin went down, but Doug Newman, he bought the Ashland Springs Hotel and put like over $9 million into it, and it was all money from that Ponzi scheme from Reed Slatkin.
Yep.
And he managed like 3 different companies of his, and somehow Doug Newman didn't have to pay a penny back. Some of the other people did. And not only that, some of the properties that got foreclosed on of Reed Slatkin's, Doug Newman bought back for pennies.
Damn.
So
those financial aspects are always the most telling, right? I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's just interesting he didn't get touched, but he was all over it. And not only didn't get to keep his money, but he benefited from it.
Narking on somebody, right?
Yeah.
I heard
Rolling
the
over on
Ashland
somebody.
Springs Hotel is haunted.
Yeah, it's one of the oldest buildings in Ashland.
People have jumped off the top.
I feel like they're
No
using
shit.
it for rituals.
Well, when you have a Newman Scientologist family that owns and they're bringing in these cults and doing weird experiments, Julia, I think I don't disagree.
But there's Scientology literature in all the rooms.
So I was here by
instead of
myself.
Bibles.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
It's like you're staying at a Marriott. You go to a Marriott, you get a Book of Mormon in your room.
Look at the title of this shit. Twin Ray Meditation and Shikanaya's Miracle Song.
I doubt we're going to watch all this. It's 15
No,
minutes
no.
long, but this is give us a little taste of those clips I wasn't quite quenched.
So I was here by myself, and I had placed my phone down.
She definitely did porn.
And I just started to sing. I was singing the voice of the mother to the children, receiving the prayers and sending them right back, sending the miracles consistently. And I was even moved. There's a moment, you'll probably hear it, but I even have tears running
Is
down
he
my
mocking
face
her?
during this moment.
Yeah,
I
literally
think
look at his
because-
face.
Because the prayers are so significant, and because the suffering is so great right now. And it also connected into when this was written and what was happening at that time. And so this is a transmission. And the miracle here is that
What's up with the
phone just
obelisk in the back
started
right there, right?
Phallic.
recording this transmission,
Big dick statue
all on its own.
next to the porn actress and
And
JJ Bryan lookalike.
Then when I went back to it after the practice was complete, a couple hours later, there was this long recording of this transmission. And I remember I said, this is a transmission now that needs to be given. Now, this isn't
With
a
the fake
produced
accent.
song or video or anything. It's just my singing a cappella in the center, transmitting from my pure heart, to the pure heart of the world.
Babe, I'm getting my stomach. I'm gonna have diarrhea. If I have to.
I'm ready to sign up. Where's these classes that I can get?
This is an instant diuretic.
So when you were mentioning Ibiza before, her.
Oh God!
Have y'all ever heard Alec Baldwin's wife's accent? She's a lady from Massachusetts, Boston, but she thinks she's from Ibiza.
Yeah.
No.
Does she sound like Shekaniah?
Oh, it's even worse. It's even worse. And she's even been called out publicly for being a white lady from Massachusetts, despite continuing on being like, I don't know how to pronounce American words because I'm from Spain.
Oh my God! What is this? A spork? Is that how you say it? Spork?
That's exactly what she's done on TV numerous times.
Alec Baldwin's wife?
Yeah, her name's Hilaria Baldwin, and it is hilarious.
Oh my God! What a joke! I'm sorry if somebody tried to peddle this to me. I would be like,
she's like holding asparagus or something. She's like, I don't know how you say. I don't know how you say. I'm like, bet you're from Massachusetts. You know exactly how you say that.
oh my God, JJ, that's so funny.
I kind of want to see if JJ's right. Find some of her earlier work.
Dude, dude, I'm telling you, dude, by the looks of that lady, she's done, again, in the proximity of the porn industry she came from, living in, she's done porn.
Allegedly.
I myself am not a viewer of said things. I can spot a hooker when I see one, sir. I spend enough time in law enforcement. I can see one who sells for sex.
When Julia falls asleep.
It's in the eyes. It's in the eyes. It's the dead soul.
When Julia falls asleep tonight and I do some digging, it's for research only. I'm not
some nighttime research.
Yeah,
I'm not going to consume it. Research. I just want to verify that it's out there.
Look into the production companies that she was working with.
There you go.
Shekaniah's taints. Shekaniah titty twister.
What an awful name. I mean, you hear that name, you think of someone from the hood.
What is her name, Lola?
Shekina Ma.
Oh,
Shekina
I was.
Ma.
But Shekaniah, we could call her that.
It's almost better. It's almost better in a bad way, but it's almost better.
Shekina. It's Shekaniah. Oh my God, Shekaniah.
One of their biggest followers who moved down here from LA has a previous record of pimping.
Oh, there you go.
That's why you need to know.
That's probably her John right there. One of her Johns at least, if not her pimp, right?
Yeah. Well, he had like a whole network of girls doing like new age tantric massage.
Oh man, that's a good franchise. Where do you get on that?
They might be opening up a sect here.
Yeah.
From what I've heard.
I'm telling you, dude, these things, all of these new age things, whenever I see this, like you're saying, a new age, like massage things, like I automatically think this is all cult stuff.
It is. Yeah.
Have you heard of that thing that Theo Von was a part of when he was in LA? It's a cult, and it's like massage, but the women lay there and they get digitally inserted. I don't even
know what that means, sir.
Isn't it like the orgasm?
But digitally, I was
these digits.
Oh, I was thinking digital like a machine. I mean, I don't even know how that would work.
I was talking old school digits.
Okay, I got you. No, I'm not familiar with this.
Yeah, I've heard people talk about it. I've never done a deep dive into it myself, but Theo Von's super shady. His dad's like an aristocrat, and him and Tom Segura's wife were on like Road Rules in the Real World on MTV back when that shit first started.
For sure. And he tells a weird story when he was growing up in Louisiana. He used to live behind David Duke and lift weights with him in the backyard. The Nazi congressman fella. And on the same street, Dave Navarro's mother got murdered. The guitarist from Jane's Addiction. Really? What a weird environment. David Duke, Theo Von, who's the son of this, I would assert probably a Nazi, this Polish royalty guy, right? He was doing all the South American business, right? Yeah. In the World War II aftermath.
That's where I met Theo's mom, and she's like 40 years younger than him.
Yeah, dude. And then Dave Navarro's mother gets like her head lopped off or some shit on the street. Dude, what a weird place to grow up. Yeah, that was a story Theo Von told. It's just like, oh well, shit, that's fucking weird, man. I've lived a weird life, sir, but that's a strange tale right there.
Yeah. Lola's got
Although,
some.
to be quite honest with you, the reason why we may never be having this conversation, if I may just offer you a weird side tangent of how weird my life has been. Uh, I was in a car one time a few months before I joined the Air Force when I was, I was 17 years old, and that was a long time ago, almost 30 years ago. And I had a young gal in the back seat, my friend's girlfriend or date or something. I don't know. We were gonna go jump off some cliffs into a river. I get pulled over doing a lot of miles over the speed limit like a dumbass, weeks away from going to the Air Force. And I have like my buddy in the driver in the passenger seat. He's got about a half ounce of weed, rolling up some blunts and stuff. Get pulled over. The only reason I didn't go to prison that day for all the pot, because Ohio at the time especially hated pot. The girl in the back who I had just met that day, her grandmother got her head lopped off earlier that summer in that same county. So the cops were like, "You guys have had her. She's had enough. You guys are lucky because you're with her, and have a nice day."
Woo! Silver
Yeah.
lining.
Did
Yeah, I
they
mean, if
catch
someone's
the
head's getting
person who
lopped
did
off,
it?
right? Yeah, well, it was kind of the state's fault, so they let him. I guess let the guy out of prison. He'd raped and murdered some other people before. Let him out of prison. Like a week later, he raped and murdered this girl's grandmother, and apparently, then her family sued the state because apparently he should never been let out of prison, and at least certainly not unwatched. Apparently,
That seems to happen a lot.
right?
Yeah.
What were you guys talking about? Tantric?
The tantric finger
Massage?
banging cult.
Yep.
It's a
Of Theo
tantric.
Vaughn.
Oh yeah, what's that about?
I don't know. I heard Abby and Robbie Martin talking about it. It's this weird service that they call it a cult offers,
Uh-huh.
and it's like full body massage, and then they give the women happy endings.
Just the women.
Well, that's what it sounded like the way I heard it described. We'll have to revisit this, get some
That
more info.
they call it a chankra massage.
Chankra.
When they balance the chankras and then they give like a little beehole surprise at the
Yep.
end.
Yep.
JJ should know all about it. He likes that stuff. He likes the tantrics and the chankras.
I don't know if that's accurate, but I do like cults. Like studying the weird behavior of these folks.
That's where Shekaniah got discovered. She was given chankra massages in the beehole surprise.
That's what I'm saying. Yep. With her pimp.
Yes. And they were talking about Scientology. They were talking about,
This
many
was
things.
in between her illustrious porn career in the Valley, right? I'm convinced that I'm telling you, everywhere in the Valley's porn. Like my dude who was working down there for a while he was a robotics engineer for a biomedicine company. They were the rivals of that Theranos company, and literally in the wall behind his office, you could just hear getting porn filmed all day in the office next door. Like it's just, I'm like, how do you work in this environment, bro? Like, you just literally hear porn on the other side of the wall, and like that is most of the Valley, and that's where this lady came from. So I'm telling you, she did porn.
Dude, just
My
look
opinion.
at her. Just
Yeah, look at her. Yeah, trust your senses and look at her.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And this whole like Mary Magdalene thing, I mean, I know that there's a lot of dispute about this, but she was supposed to be a prostitute. Wasn't she, Mary Magdalene?
Yeah, I don't think there's dispute. in
Yeah, I'm
the
not sure.
mythology.
Yeah, I
The
think
Da
that's
Vinci Code disputes it. The Da Vinci Code disputes it. That
Oh,
she
fair
was
enough.
never a prostitute.
Dan Brown disputes the Bible. Okay.
I think it was the gay wizard fella in the film, but yeah, it was a good one. I like that movie. Ian McKellen, right in his name.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Lola, is there anything else on Twin Ray or the
Well,
Newmans?
another partner of Reed Slatkin and Doug Newman was Ronald Rakow, who was one of the original road managers of the Grateful Dead.
Yeah,
So
I
we're
did not
tying
know
it
that.
together
That's
with those
interesting.
people now.
Yeah.
That's the Tavistock.
Yeah.
That's Courtney Love's dad. He was a manager in the early years of the Dead too.
When they were the Warlocks, Hank Harrison.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Not Hank Harrison, but one of the original
Same era, right?
managers.
So they knew
Yeah.
each other very
Mhm.
likely.
Yeah.
Are y'all familiar with the name Eric Trist?
Yes, but you're gonna have to remind me why.
He was the best friend of Jerry Garcia and the president of their music publishing company from day one till his death.
Carl Hassel might have told me that. But
He was the son of Alan Trist, the founder of Tavistock.
Okay.
I might have those names mixed up. Maybe the dad's name's Alan and the son's name's Eric, but nonetheless, the Trist boys. So this dude was part of the same manager crew in the early onset. He would have known them Trist. It sounds like that's fascinating.
Yeah, he started in Scientology in the 70s in San Francisco, then went to LA, then went to Santa Barbara, then to Ashland.
This guy's everywhere and nowhere.
That tells you a little something about Ashland. And it's also worth
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
These Newman people, they're buying up parts of Medford now too.
Oh yeah, they own downtown Medford.
Medford's where we live.
This is what Scientology does. So speaking of Theo Vaughn's buddies, right? Bert Kreischer, his father was L. Ron Hubbard's attorney down in Clearwater. So yeah, that's a true story.
Oh,
so
go ahead.
Yeah, Albert Kreischer. Yep, Albert Kreischer the second.
I heard on a whatever podcast Bert Kreischer does with Tom Segura, they were talking about Scientologists, and they're like, "Who's some Scientologists we know?" And Bert's like, "Joe," and Tom shot him a look. He's like, "We're not supposed to talk about that, are we?" And now Joe Rogan's defending Jared Leto for having his fucking cult at Lookout Mountain. Joe Rogan's like, dude, they're just listening to music and having fun. Oh, no. Quit giving the guy such a hard time. It's just like Estlin. This is
dude, you ain't kidding, dude. So somebody sent me something recently interesting on Rogan, but I did a podcast with William Ramsey about 5 or 6 years ago. Joe Rogan and his friends, because he's surrounded by the neo process, including his boy Duncan Trussell. Yeah, right. They were the entertainment. Him and Trussell were the entertainment at LeVay's grandson's wedding.
Mm-hmm. That's a picture that haunts him to this day, throwing up the devil horns with LeVay's.
I haven't gotten into this yet, but some folk of the interwebs recently sent me a lengthy diatribe on how Joe Rogan's actually the son of Anton LeVay.
Dude, it looks like it. It looks like it. I heard that a while back, and I'm looking at pictures going, ah.
Well, I think Andrew Tate looks more like him.
Andrew Tate looks like Zena LeVay and Taylor Swift close. Like they look like they're from the same embryo that's in storage somewhere.
Well, a lot of the time frames match up with Rogan when he was out there in the Bay, where he came from in the Bay Area kind of deal or whatever, right?
So just all the things he's been positioned in.
Yeah.
It would make total
And he
sense.
surrounds himself with Doug Stanhope, who's Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp. They're a trio, and Marilyn Manson and Johnny Depp are neo process. They're up in the, they're up there, and they're the ones who finance. Depp's one of the ones who financed the West Memphis 3, propaganda.
100.
So it's interesting to see these epicenters of activity around these things in the Grateful Dead manager. Nonetheless, we see all this other spooky activity with these cults as well, and Scientology. So when did Homeboy move to Ashland? It sounds like he'd been there longer than the Newmans, maybe, huh?
The Newmans?
No, the other fellow, the Grateful Dead manager
Slatkin?
fellow. Reed's cohort.
Oh, he's not in Ashland.
Oh, I thought, okay. So only the Newmans lived in Ashland. I thought the other fellows, the other Scientologists moved up there.
Well, Reed Slatkin got out a few years back and fell off the map, and there was a lot of talk of, they got some of the money back from him, but a lot of like high-end art and gold and different stuff gone missing when they came to collect. So I'm wondering he could have been up here. I mean, he names the Newmans as guardians of his children in his will. Since the 70s, they've moved to the same places.
That's interesting, because that's a huge estate to have there. I mean, you can hide a lot of things in that estate. No one would know.
Yeah, and they have a bunch more estates.
From the dead hospice people?
No, from Reed Slatkin. He had a 246 acre property here as well. That's now under Doug Newman's name.
Wow, okay.
Unclassified.
So Reed Slatkin got up there with the Newmans then at some point in time in the 90s, it sounds like.
Yes.
Interesting.
What's this stuff you have written about the Indigo Child?
Oh, I remember this.
It was about Harley. They were claiming that he was an indigo child and raised up to be
Oh, for fuck's sake!
But that's classic New Age stuff. If you want to do
Yeah.
New Age stuff, you got to talk indigo children, Julia. That's
Yeah,
that's
they also
mandatory.
Is
they also
this
say the age of Aquarius a lot, which I thought like they've been saying that since the 70s. So when
literally
is
the 70s?
yeah.
I interviewed a doctor probably during COVID because he was pretty anti all that shit going on. And he ended up talking about the age of Aquarius. And apparently, we still haven't entered it.
We still haven't entered it.
That's what he was saying. We're in
I
the
feel like New
entry.
Age people
But
are
the
always
fifth
saying
dimension said, when the moon is in the
Yeah,
second.
I thought it was a New Age term for Crowley's Age of Horus.
right. They do have a lot of like Crowleyan references too that they talk about. Like they always say
Absolutely.
They always say as above, so below. They met at the pyramid, just like, in Giza,
Like
where,
really, yeah.
yeah, supposedly where he
That's where he channeled his
Kabbalah.
eyewash, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah,
And he was there with a woman. So,
that's right.
yeah, that kind of brought to mind that. Also, their story was that they were allowed into the tomb and were allowed to lay in the sarcophagus together. And
Yeah,
that's
real
how
cute
they were
tale,
married.
right?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, these assholes met
In
at
what
a
world?
7-Eleven. They met at a fucking
Well,
7-Eleven.
Well, that tale reminds me, Julia, of the time Jeffrey Dahmer's like, "Oh, you all want to go to a tour of the White House? Let me call Walter and Mondale. I'll give my
Yeah.
classmates a tour." I have no doubt they went inside the temple, but they were given special access. It ain't just like, "Oh, we just happened to go there."
Oh, right. JJ, I mention that all the time because it makes no fucking sense whatsoever to me.
Especially
at
with
all.
how young he was.
How young he was.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, that, and let's just go to this store and buy a 5-gallon barrel of muriatic acid, which I have no car, so I'm going to get a taxi to
Well, you get-
barrel home in.
No.
You get a discount if you buy in bulk, Julia. You get a discount. So these
How much did
these
he pay
economic
the
times
taxi
we're
driver
in.
to help
Well,
him
his-
bring it up
his
there?
dad
no,
got the
supposedly he
employee
did it all
discount.
by himself.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
But,
Isn't
this
that your theory,
indigo-
Julia, that his dad was, a chemist?
I think his dad
Definitely.
I think his dad was helping him a lot because he was a scientist and he had access to all that stuff. But so this concept of the indigo child and like the concept of becoming a god or that we are God, it reeks of Satanism to me, actually becoming God, and doing what thou wilt.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was getting at before by saying we learn a term later, but all these not only people we know as Satanists recognize Crowley, Joseph Smith as being Satanists. So you're making some good points.
Yeah, I do think that it's synonymous with Satanism. The
For sure.
concept of being your own god and stuff, and like the indigo thing, isn't that like with the chakras? Like the indigo is like
that was a theory that there was going to be a generation of children who were telepathic with each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I've yet to see that happening.
Well, they're trying to convince us of that, though, right? With those telepathy tapes.
Yep. Autistic people. They're the next step in evolution.
So Elon Musk is going to come out as an indigo child, and then we're all going to...
He's the OG.
OG indigo. He's got all of his chakras
That's just
balanced.
what I think.
Yeah.
I love Elon.
Did you have something about Big Pharma in there as well?
Oh, yeah, just that Reed Slatkin, most of his investments were in big pharma, tech, biotech, property, and B-movie productions.
Why B?
With with really strange names like Rose Funk Pics.
Yep.
Which
sounds like a porn.
Yeah.
Sounds like a porn. So what I'm putting together is it sounds like this homegirl was doing some porns for Reed Slack in here, maybe. I'm picturing a real Big Lebowski type of situation. You know what I mean? We see that sex cult represented there, right?
Yeah. Rose Funk, it makes me definitely... it's
weird.
a B movie, right?
Yeah.
B as in Beehole, Rosebud.
He might as well be Jackie
Exactly.
Treehorn. Yeah.
They're
Exactly,
doing
dude. There you go.
You ever heard of a Rosebud?
Yes.
That's what the B movie is.
Fortunately, yeah.
It's a literal butthole movie.
Yeah.
They're doing the special Beehole surprise at the end. That's where See, who
Oh,
wants
we've been
to
censored.
see?
We've been censored.
Guys, I hope that did you talk about anything important in like the last 30 seconds?
We were talking about how Oprah was in a sex cult. Who the fuck wants to see her naked?
No, she wasn't in it.
How did
She
we
was
get to
funding
Oprah?
it.
I
She was
fucking
funding
realized
it.
that my phone
Promoting it.
hotspot was running my internet. I couldn't figure out why it was so slow for me, so I switched over to the house internet,
Oh,
and it cut me off for about 30 seconds.
You
It-
didn't miss
it's-
anything. We were talking about Oprah's beehole.
What sex
Yep.
cult? John of God, Nexium?
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, one of the followers of Twin Ray, like talks a lot about, one who still follows them talks a lot about being with John of God before them, which is really strange.
So what is this, like a cult hopper?
Yeah.
Went from one
Yep,
cult to
mhm.
another. 'Cause
Most
they
of them
can't
are.
get enough cult.
Yeah.
Yeah, most of them are.
Yeah.
JJ, what the fuck is this mentality?
Yeah.
Like, if you could just sum it up, your personal thoughts in a nutshell, why somebody would want to join a cult or be a part of something like this. I mean, you watch the videos. Are you interested? Like, is this something, like, I don't get the mentality personally.
I've been signing up for programs on my phone the entire conversation. I'm in. Let's do this. No, I don't get it either. The Mormons never really got me. They never really got their hooks into me. I was always very skeptical of what all the stuff they're selling. First of all, I had a lot of questions about aliens, and they didn't want to answer them. And that's how Scientology operates. You got to get to a certain level. You can't say Xenu in public forums. You know, you'll get sect checked real fast. And the Mormons have their own processes like that to keep the population in control of their secrets and whatnot. But I don't get it either, Julia. To be quite honest with you, it all seems pretty foolish to me. But it also seems like there's well organized, well financed operations that understand the human psychology through well funded taxpayer programs that are being perpetrated on the American populace, Operation Gladio style, Phoenix program style kind of things, right? Using, instead of small test beds at college campuses where these programs began in America in the Nazi era since 1947, they've been expanded to large scale programs into things like this through cults because there's no congressional oversight under religious freedoms.
So it's like they prey on people's desire and their thirst for the connection to something divine, whether you call it God or whatever. They prey upon people who want that connection in their life.
Well, you just immediately quoted when you heard Age of Aquarius, the song from years ago about the Age of Aquarius, because they've used marketing through media in which to perpetrate these ideals, in which to cause people to have these ideas, in which to join these groups. Mm-hmm. It's a full scale, ass blast. Back to the Oprah Beehole situations.
Right. Yeah, and then the sex part. So they haven't. They moved to Ashland in 2020, and they haven't started any weird sex stuff yet, or they have.
Yet.
I think they're out of here by now. Correct?
They're what?
Lola? They're out of here by now.
I've been asking around and I can't find them. They weirdly still own like 1 acre of that property up there on the Circle of Terrain. Instead of foreclosing, they just gave the deed back to the Newmans. And the last time people spotted them was in Sebastopol, where that one follower who had the history of pimping has property.
But
pimping ain't easy.
We haven't confirmed if they're doing any weird sex rituals, touching each other's beeholes with the elixir.
Well, Julia, it sounds like we got a porn producer in Slack and a porn actress in the leader, and we got, all sorts of other weird activities going around here. Let's be honest about the situation. You know what I mean? Let's call a spade a spade.
They have to be, right?
I don't think they have sex with each other, though.
They don't have sex with each other.
No.
They're asexual.
No, I think when the cameras go off, they probably get as far from each other as they can.
Oh, the leaders. Okay, I got you. Now, are they dictating sexual relations on these retreats with their followers? Is that what's going on? Like most cults, they dictate it?
Maybe. I haven't heard much about that, but they do say that they publicly say they are asexual, that they don't.
Well, when you start to say you're asexual, the next step is having sex with your members, because you're not getting frisky with your own person. So,
well, or lopping your dick off Marshall Applewhite style and going eunuch. You know what I mean? They don't need this anymore. Whop.
If you can't use it, lose it.
So when I was getting at with all these LLCs and how it looks like these folks invaded towns there, that's what L. Ron Hubbard did in Clearwater by hiring Burt Kreischer's dad's law firm. So they had all these different LLCs, and then one day they were like, "Oh, surprise! Everyone's Scientology," and it sounds like that's what they were doing. Then they tried to take over the government, which they haven't been that successful down there. So did they take over the government here in Oregon?
I don't know.
Well, we were talking about how they weren't well received. So they opened up this storefront in downtown Ashland called The Haven. I just went to their website. First thing it says when you pull it up on Google is permanently closed, but you'll see what they're offering.
Oh, so I can't get a longevity elixir to put on my taint?
You can still buy it.
I'm fresh out of crystals, so I'm a little upset about this being closed.
Yeah, JJ, me too.
The Haven's intention is to offer all that a divine human would need to live a sacred and ceremonial life of purpose.
Yep.
So yeah, you could go to this website, and I mean, like I said, the townsfolk did not like these fuckers one bit. A lot of harassment. I think there was.
Yeah, I get that with the
stuff.
population. That makes sense. But like, who's signing off on their building permits? Who's signing off on, you know what I mean? Like, who's sanctioning these things, right?
Yeah. No, definitely.
It just seems like the type of place, though, Ashland, because you live there. A lot of weird spiritual people inhabit the area.
Oh, yeah.
And I could see something like this being popular there. So
It was
surprised.
among a subsect of people for sure.
Okay, because I was gonna say I've been there. I see the little crystal shops in the where you can get your chakras aligned and your palm read and the crystal beehole. But I would think that these two coming to town, it would be like a fucking parade with the type of people that lives.
I think they expected that too.
Yeah, I think they would have because of, like I said, the people. Who, no offense, I know you live there.
So Ashland is old rancher money, and then the California imports, because we have the Shakespeare Festival, the university. Ashland is a very weird amalgamation of different types of people. I mean, it's one of the most interesting places I've ever lived for sure. But like the old Ashland blood, they're not about this shit.
Yeah, he would know. Colby would know better than me. I've only been there 3 years, so.
What is your temperature on the
temperature?
The locals.
What's the word on the street?
Well, she works at a place where she gets to interact with these fuckers on a pretty daily basis.
Are they like old hippies who just want to like listen to Bob Marley and get their pit hair braided, or are they these weird like twin rayers?
You got all of it. It's all
all of it. There's a lot of like I live right next to the Mormon church.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
There you go, yeah.
And
that's JJ's wheelhouse.
Let's use a Mount Shasta scale. On the Mount Shasta scale of like, if Mount Shasta's a 10, like where do they fall versus Mount Shasta, right?
I still want to go to Mount Shasta.
I would say, yeah, very similar.
It's up there?
Yeah, very similar, but like more money, less tweak.
Yeah, there's a lot of meth in Shasta. That's a good point.
Yeah, that whole area surrounding Shasta, it's just old industrial like logging and shit. So you get a lot of that.
There's no like charming bed and breakfast where I could get like my vagina hair braided.
Dude, Mount Shasta and McLeod are both really cool places. I dig that spot.
Oh, I love Northern California. Don't get me wrong. I spent a lot of time there. Yeah.
Energetically, there's just something different about it. And I sound like woo-woo, but you go to Mount Shasta and it's like a fucking... I think there's a pyramid there. I don't think it's a mountain.
I say the same thing about Chico, just south of Shasta. Like there's something I really like Chico. Two of my dudes live in Chico, but I really love that town. Just everything about it.
Well, if you make a triangle out of Chico, Mount Shasta, and then you go a little south or a little northeast, you get into the Sierra, where the Sierra Sounds were recorded, those Bigfoot. I mean, that was in the 70s, these old hunters. Like I'm pretty skeptical about all that stuff. That one, I always thought they heard something. I'm not saying it was a Bigfoot, but there's something weird about that place. And then you get into the old Maria mythology about that place.
Dude, it's creepy up in there, man. My dude's got a lake house up there. You know the murders up there, kitty cabin murders?
I don't know.
You ever seen the movie, the one with Liv Tyler? Them folks are masked. They're coming to attack the house, the strangers or something like
The
that.
strangers?
Yeah, so there was a cabin up there just outside of Chico, an hour and a half northeast of there in the mountains, like you were describing there, Colby. It's like 1980. This mother and her 4 kids, 3 kids, and a neighbor all got brutally slaughtered in this cabin, the Kitty cabin murders.
Ooh, that's some
They
homework.
based the strangers off of that? That's crazy. I love
Yeah,
that.
kind of loosely based, right? Kind of loosely based.
Yeah,
I think it's unsolved, but my dude's cabin's like, I don't know, like 5 miles down the road from there, and it's a creepy area.
Holy shit. So you're saying there's like a lot of meth heads near the Shasta area?
Oh, big time.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
meth
Well,
heads
you know-
everywhere here.
You think
Oh, big
like
time.
it would be almost cool for them because they're doing meth and they're opening up their mind to all these dimensions of the Shasta?
No, they're opening
like
up
a-
your innards to get some money for some more meth is what they're doing, Julia. They're going to get real stabby with you.
Yeah.
You do not want to go near a meth head. You do not want to go near a meth head.
I've been near one before.
No
and it
way.
gave
It's
me
not
the
advisable.
creeps.
It's
It
not
gave me
advisable.
the creeps.
Yeah, it should.
But Lola, are we missing anything? You think we've about put a ribbon on it, or you think that there's
Yeah, I
some-
think so. They also one other weird thing that I thought was weird anyways was that they claim as their partners a lot of child trafficking foundations.
Oh,
like what?
One's called Compass Rose International. It's in Colorado.
that's a
The
creepy
oth-
name.
Yeah, in Colorado. I mean,
Yeah. It's a hub,
and
right?
then Global Orphan Prevention.
Oh, come on.
Come on, that sounds legit, Julia. Come on, it sounds legit.
Global orphans?
See,
Yeah.
they want to prevent orphans, so they take these kids and sacrifice
then
them.
this-
And then there's no orphan
Yeah.
anymore.
Would you prefer flat Earth orphans? Is that what you're looking for here?
And then they were partnered with this one that I didn't get a chance to look into all the way, but it's called the Sign Network, SINE, and they describe themselves as a global alliance of social innovators committed to large-scale behavior change.
There's definitely a spook that wrote that phrase. There's no way that's not a spook written phrase.
Yeah. And don't tell me that. What is this you got written about supplements?
Oh yeah, supplements.
They
Oh,
Stop.
Scientology loves supplements. That's their
Oh,
thing.
come on. Like Joe Rogan. What's it called? It's called Manna,
Yeah, manna.
like from heaven.
Well,
Manna
yeah.
from heaven. That's their supplement brand. You can buy these online.
Well, it's one of their partners.
Oh, it's one of their partners.
yeah.
Anybody find
When-
this shit, do not take it.
When you say like Joe Rogan, you mean to tell me that Alpha Brain stuff that he made with that pornography producer friend of his, and dildo manufacturer, is
Aubrey Marcus.
not an actual legitimate useful supplement? Yeah, Aubrey
Oh,
Marcus.
you know, JJ, you could give it a try. You might not be able to podcast anymore, but you could take it.
Isn't it shady, these associations these people have that produce these things that somehow make it so big? Like, why was that ever a big product in the first place, right? You know, is it because he's
JJ
promoting it?
Well, you know about the
You know,
lawsuit
I say that all the
before
time.
they
Why
offed
aren't
the
we
company?
trusting them?
Yeah, I was reading about that. It's super shady. Super shady.
So they knew because Aubrey Marcus's mom, her stepmom, she is the one who made Alpha Brain. And they got into some deep legal waters. They offed it to this big pharmaceutical company. I'm spacing which one. But Aubrey Marcus and Joe Rogan don't really seem to have anything to do with each other anymore. But this is that is this
I think it was Unilever. I think it was Unilever.
Yeah.
It might be. So this is that Manna company.
This looks like a Scientology type of multi-marketing scheme supplement operation, right?
We didn't
Or
invent
Mormon.
vitamins,
They
we
both do the
just
same
made
stuff.
them better.
They have a supplement called
at-
lipo something.
Look at this guy slamming his dick into his own balls right here. Watch this.
Well,
Bam!
it's got nano
Bam.
fuse, guys. It's got nano fuse.
Yep.
This stuff bothers me. It's like, why would we trust Joe Rogan or any of these assholes to be in? Let me just put this substance into my body.
Dude, what scares me is that methylene blue craze that's going on right now because podcasters we know are taking that shit daily. I won't say their names here, but what the fuck?
What is it?
Methylene blue?
Alex Jones is hawking it. and it's
What is it supposed
it's
to
a
do?
dye that was used in surgeries or some shit like that. Now these people are drinking it.
Isn't it the dye they put in the toilet cakes and like portalets? Isn't that the same stuff?
Let's look it up.
Is that a different blue dye? Maybe, I don't know.
Julia, you can
Why
try
This-
the
but, like-
What's it
magnesium.
supposed to do?
It's just like any of those other weird, like, snake oil. Oh, it's supposed to cure everything and do everything and optimal health. And it's like when people got on that colloidal silver thing, and it's like, you shouldn't be taking colloidal silver every day.
No.
Like, that should be like a once in a while thing that you do, like a health booster. But it's
Well,
like,
Alex Jones is a Scientologist, so I mean,
So
of course, he's
here-
going to push this stuff.
Yeah, so here's
yeah,
him.
look at this ultra methylene blue.
I was hoping to get a video of him going. Yeah.
Oh no, it's on his Twitter, dude. Go to his Twixter timeline. He's always chugging this stuff.
Okay. Try to find it there.
Yeah, I love hate following Alex Jones because you don't need reality TV. You need
Did
Corey
you see
Feldman.
him
You need
crying
Alex
today?
Jones in your life.
JJ, did you see him crying today?
Oh, is that different than every day that he cries anymore? He's very emotional. This
He's
guy.
crying about Trump.
His hormones are all messed up from chugging methylene blue.
Right?
So I totally see it, but what makes you think Alex Jones is a Scientologist?
Oh, well, his associations and statements and the people that come to bat for him. So he called it Prison Planet, right? Which is an L. Ron Hubbard coin term. That was his original
Yeah.
website.
Gnostic,
And then,
Scientologist as fuck.
He had this lady that came to bat for him there in that whole lawsuit in Connecticut, and James Comey's first cousin, in fact. And she runs a Scientology nonprofit company called Children's. It's one of these children's anti-drug companies.
Mm-hmm.
So he just, it's his words, it's his associations,
Right.
his actions.
His friends are Scientologists.
His friends are Scientologists.
And the phrasing he's using, kind of like these guys are doing, where they're just
Yeah, they flip flop in the same
Yeah.
terminology. Yeah.
Oh, if you want to go that deep, yeah, he's got the same old nonsense. He's definitely, he speaks like Hubbard writes. You know what I mean? If you listen to the way he speaks, it's kind of nonsense, but it's where he gets that, in my opinion, is because he's read too much Hubbard.
That actually makes a lot of sense to me.
who was obsessed with Crowley.
Mm.
I think JJ, do you know if he got hold of Aleister Crowley's journals? I know he wanted to buy them. Wasn't it like bidding war to buy them?
Yeah, I
Did
think
he actually get them?
I think there's a good chance. So I think there's a lot of stories that we've been sold about around these things that are bullshit. So I looked deeper into that Agape Lodge thing, and a lot of the mainstream narratives, even in that Love, Sex, and Rockets book, aren't necessarily accurate. It's a bit stranger than they're trying to shitcode it still even further. I think a lot of weird shit went down there. I think a lot of weird shit went around these characters. Jack Parsons' third great grandfather was a captain in the Massachusetts chapter of the secret society that started America. And that man's mother was a witch, or grandmother was a witch. His grandmother Parsons was a witch in the Salem witch trials. So on that same regard, we see Joseph Smith as another major figure of this same, again, Satanist regard, if you will, this human is a god, secular humanism bullshit. And he has the same lineage. His grandfather was a captain in the Massachusetts chapter, and that man's grandfather was one of the accusers. Grandfather Smith was one of the accusers in the Salem witch trial. So why do we see this kind of long-standing genealogy of these same attributes and characters perpetrating these same ideals? I think there's something to be said to that, but I think it's these ongoing cults that are, we see running our media today with their perpetrating their ideals, their supplements, their nonsense. I love listening to this guy. It's nonsense, but I love listening to it. But it is exactly what you would get when you read enough Hubbard.
Do you guys
And
want to
his
hear any of this
newfound
methylene
weight
blue
loss,
shit?
He looks so crazy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, decades ago, we looked at selling you methylene blue. The problem is you couldn't get pharmaceutical grade. It was something nobody knew
He's done
about.
way too much Ozempic. Let's
Now,
be
because the
honest.
world's awakened to it, there's a bunch of pharmaceutical grade makers of it. My medical doctor at clinics all over the state, said you need to get on methylene blue. Told me how to buy it online.
Have you
said,
seen his
be sure
doctor?
to get
He's got a
USP,
guy
which
that
is
he
pharmaceutical
calls his
grade.
doctor. He took like a Harvard.
I take it here and there.
School.
Feels like you're plugged into electricity.
You did what?
Oh, I didn't know if you could hear me or not. But yeah, the doctor he often refers to is this dude who comes out in a white lab coat. He is a doctor of, I think, I don't remember what, but podiatry or something. But he went to like a Harvard weekend school and he claims to be a Harvard trained doctor, and it's hilarious.
Is it Dr. Group?
I'll find a picture. I'll send it to you. I
No,
forget
he's
his
not
name.
with him
He
anymore,
looks
right?
is just as ridiculous as he sounds. What is it?
Electricity.
Dr. Group, because he has some supplements he does on his own, but I think he's off on his own now.
Does he have long hair?
Julia?
No, I think this might be a different guy. I think Dr. Group took off and he had to replace him with a podiatrist, I guess, that wears a lab coat.
Anyway, this bullshit.
Podiatrist really wants you to take methylene blue. Do you hear the sales tactics too? He'll be like, this methylene blue, when you take it just feels like you're plugged into a light socket. Oh my God, my nipples get hard every time. Fuck. Methylene blue.
What is it supposed to do for you?
Apparently it gets your nipples hard. I don't know.
Well, I'm in for that. Let's do that. I'll get me a bucket of that stuff. Who doesn't need hard nipples in their life?
The thing about Alex Jones that kills me too is like he's clearly on Ozempic.
Oh, a lot of it, right? He looks like a different
Right?
person.
But
He looks like he looks like a Central American version of himself. It's Juan Alex Jones there. That little mustache he's got going, all the fat's gone where he never grew
That was
hair.
the first
right?
time I've seen him in a while.
Yeah,
with
dude, he's clearly on Ozempic. Clearly on Ozempic.
Okay, so it's supposed to treat methylmoglobinemia, enhancing cognitive function and providing neuroprotective effects against diseases like Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. It may also have antioxidant properties and is being researched for its use in various medical conditions. So that's from drugs.com, whoever the fuck they are. Google thought
It just seems like the latest fad in all these fads, though, right? There's always these fads that come around, whether
I've
the
heard
food fad or supplement
it could
fad.
be bad for you to use it like this.
It looks awful. I can't imagine that's productive for you, dumping some blue shit down your mouth hole. But I'm not a doctor.
You could be the doctor on my show. You could
Right.
come, next time you come on.
I'll wear a
I'll
white
have
lab coat,
Yes.
dude. Get some curly hair wig going on.
Keep the
Methylene
headband.
blue comes from the Avatar, James Cameron Avatar people busted hot nuts into these little vials.
Yeah.
And that's
That sounds. I fact checked. That sounds accurate.
yeah. That's why it's
Unobtainium
called
blue.
methylene blue. They just get the Avatar people to bust a hot load, and then they just, squeegee it out into these little pipettes, and then Alex Jones sells it for you.
I knew we would get here
know
somehow.
what the fuck's up.
Any closing thoughts on the Twin Ray or Newman family? Lola, we'll start with you. I don't know if we got through your notes.
Yeah, it's fine.
I'm not trying to
She
end this. I
covered a
think we
lot of
should
stuff.
bullshit about whatever till JJ needs to get off.
Oh, I got a few more minutes. I'm enjoying the conversation. I always appreciate the talking Colts, and this is always fun.
Yeah, so let's just bullshit. If we want to move away from Twin Ray, I'll just have Lola start, and then JJ, you can close out on it. Julia.
I guess for me, the most interesting part about it is the Scientology part and how they just seem to follow so much of the same cutout guidelines as all the rest of them.
Yeah.
And I also feel like I don't know, they don't feel like they're built to last very long because, yeah, like
The idiocracy
yeah,
of it.
it seems to me more like a lot of like money laundering and
Like they're the front for
Yeah.
something that's
So-
more sinister going on behind the scenes.
They're like the Kamala Harris campaign of cults.
Oh,
Just throw you
For
out,
sure.
throw you out there, let you flop around and die for a little bit.
I mean, they didn't. I mean, they might pop up again somewhere, but in the like for cults, they only lasted a few, like burned bright for a few years, So,
yeah, but it seems like you hit on the most important parts, that at least that I find most fascinating, as well as the financial aspects and those Newmans and Scientology. These folks, in my opinion, are going nowhere. They'll be back, I'm sure, especially they own all the properties and businesses there. It sounds like they need to get more folks in through those businesses to launder more money or something in that regard. It sounds like.
Yeah, it was really
yeah,
weird that they
Newmans are
kept 1
definitely.
acre. They kept ownership of 1 acre, you said, Lola, on the.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
fucking weird. There's definitely something to that.
They got to keep a toe in. They got to keep that toe in.
Well, and if you look at the property records too, like I'm not super versed on real estate kind of stuff, but it's weird how many times it's gone to other people and then gone back to the Newmans and then gone to somebody else and then gone back to the Newmans, sometimes for money and sometimes at $0.
Well, it seems like to me they're test driving a bunch of different cults to see which one will take off and which one will be like the most successful, because you said it was like a miscarriage cult and then it turned into this Shekaniah's titty twister cult, and then they still like
Good call, though,
we're
right?
just gonna give it back, and then the next cult will come along.
Yeah, fire the miscarriage cult, hire the porn actress. That's a lucrative move.
Yeah.
That's what it seems like to me. I mean, because they weren't received very well, the next cult will probably be a little bit more toned down, probably more like methylene blue avatar people.
Well, what you're describing is exactly how Nexium evolved throughout the 80s into the 90s.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just trying out some test wheels to see,
Yeah.
you know, what will be the most lucrative cult.
Yep.
They made a shitload of money, though. Let's not understate that.
Yeah, they did, but the Newmans have much more.
Right.
Much,
it's a drop in the bucket,
much
probably.
more. Like in the Reed Slatkin case, 585 million, and this was in early 2000s, went missing. And it was in the hundreds of millions, the Ponzi scheme, all the money. So
hundreds of millions.
Yeah, that makes that
and that's
1.9
back
million
then.
look pretty small. That 1.9 that they recorded in 2021, I think. That's nothing compared to old Reed.
Yeah, but if you're washing money through businesses, right, that they can, especially these are cash businesses, right? There's a lot. I used to manage a lot of money, for the military, police, and the Air Force, headquarters in DC. You can get really creative when you start to get into accounting stuff. Not to say I ever did anything, criminal wise. I'm just saying when you're dealing with a lot of large numbers and stuff, and you're pushing things through a lot of different places, you can make things disappear pretty quickly.
Oh yeah, and they have bank accounts in Estonia, in London, Twin Ray, that is.
Yeah.
And like I said, so many different names, like Akasha, Sanandaji, El Ra El, like you name it. Yeah, they have all kinds of names and so many LLCs.
Oh, come on.
And also some with that Christoph Melchizedek guy too as well.
This is the perfect umbrella network to shift money around to a point where you'll never track it.
Yeah.
The New Age people are usually rich. I've noticed that correlation. Like, you don't meet a lot of like downtrodden New Age people.
Not a lot of bums out there trying to find a spiritual guide right there.
Well, if they jam a rock up their butt, it's not the kind of rock that they sell at the Haven.
That's a free experience on the corner. People pay good money for that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so I guess that's it. Just the Scientology and the Reed Slatkin and the money laundering and Ponzi schemes was the most interesting part about it for me.
So what do you think Reed Slatkin's doing on that 264-acre compound he's got?
I don't know. Well, I don't know if that's where he is. He's just dropped off the map. So he got out. He spent 10 years. So he got out in like 2010, and then had to go to a halfway house, and then he just dropped off the map, and nobody knows where he is.
But
and his son changed his name. I know. I wonder.
What were you saying about his son?
If he's here.
His son.
I think his son had his son, I know for sure, changed his name. This was like a really big deal back then. Yeah, like Arnold Schwarzenegger was part of this Ponzi scheme. Good friend of Reed Slatkin.
Nice.
Kennedy too, right? Or formerly of the Kennedys.
Yeah.
His wife was a Kennedy.
Yeah. Maria.
Yep. I mean, because Reed Slatkin was a minister at the Celebrity Center, so all kinds of those people were involved.
Yeah, that's big time in Scientology. I mean, that's, that's the heart of their operations there. I mean, Miscavige has their operational headquarters in Riverside County, California, but he has a penthouse apartment there on Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite places to eat lunch is right across from it when I
Oh,
lived in
nice.
LA. Yeah.
You like to eat a nice Scientology sandwich for lunch?
No.
Is it better when the Scientologists make it?
I discovered one of the greatest biscuits in LA. One of my dudes lives in LA, the one that used to share an office with a porn operation in the Valley. He lives over by the airport now, but I discovered it was a wedding a couple years back. We were over there in that region of West Hollywood and like Koreatown, I guess, right? I discovered the most amazing biscuit I've ever found in my entire life, and I could never find the place again. I was so upset. It was all new. I'm a New Englander. It was all New England products and like Vermont maple syrup. I'm like, what did I just walk into? Sometimes I think I imagined the whole thing, but my dudes were with me, so I know it happened. But I've looked on maps, like it was right there in that same little like area where you're describing that region near the L. Ron Hubbard Golden Productions or whatever business in his penthouse area there.
By the Celebrity Center or the main?
Where his penthouse is over there on Hollywood Boulevard.
Okay.
Over in that region, west, because it's kind of like West Hollywood. Maybe I'm calling it West Hollywood when it's not West Hollywood, but I think it's like
No, yeah.
the border of the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those pop-up shops, JJ, like where the guy got Gizmo from in the Gremlins. It's there, and then when you try to return the shit, it's not there anymore.
Julia, I gave the shop owner my cousin's name and contact information because he wanted better prices of maple syrup. I'm like, I got you, buddy. I got you. I asked my cousin next time I saw him in Vermont the fall, this would have been like December of 2019. I was in Vermont in July and I said, did they call you? Next time I saw him, like, hey, I gave this business in LA your number and your contact information because it was, mine and his forefather that owned the maple syrup operation at some point. It got passed down to him through the family on his side. And he's like, no, I never heard from him. I'm like, oh, that son of a bitch. He was going to call you guys. And then I went back to try to find that place. I'm like, I can't, because I wanted more of those biscuits next time I was in LA, but I could never find that place again. I swear it existed though.
You can make
it feels like a figment of my imagination. Maybe it was Scientology magic over on Hollywood Boulevard. Maybe they got me.
Yeah.
Dude, you can make a buddy film about like two dudes trying to find these biscuits.
Dude,
LA, getting in all these adventures.
Dude, I'm half I'm half Southern and half Northern Appalachian. I know my biscuits, and these were some of the most amazing biscuits I've ever had in my entire life.
MK Ultra biscuits. Julia, wrap up thoughts on Twin Ray.
Well, obviously, I think it's hysterical. Much like the Twin Flame cult, just absolute idiocracy. Anybody to pay $8,000 to hang out with these retards.
Don't forget that $3,000 necklace.
Yeah, $3,000 necklace.
Which is
stuff. Paste.
Yeah, it's like Swarovski crystals and
gold
plated. Yeah,
shit you can get on Amazon for $5.99.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean it's like Lola was saying, it fits a blueprint that's becoming kind of like an old hat nowadays. This new agey, twin flamey, age of Aquarius-y, like. I just feel like it's going to get to the point where nobody's interested anymore.
Well, and don't forget the golden age lingo has now gone to the Trump administration. He uses it too.
Right. Also, one more thing about that, they always said a big event in 2017 and a big event in 2024. They would always harp on that, which is lines up with his election.
Yeah, were they low-key Trump supporters?
Well, most Scientologists voted for Trump. In fact, one of the billionaire Scientologists was one of his financiers and bundlers.
Yeah, and they probably get all these big tax cuts too when he's in there.
So,
well, he loves real estate. Let's be honest about the situation. He's going to take care of his real estate people, right? And there's a lot. That's this billionaire I'm thinking of as a real estate person, within But they're one of the big Scientologists. I forget their names. They're a married couple. They just got divorced.
And did they financially back him?
Not only they financially back him, they got the church to back him. They were bundlers financially speaking, but if you look at the voters of Riverside County, California, home of Gold Base, the administrative headquarters of Scientology, they was like 98% red, all Trump. Kirstie Alley was the first Hollywood actress or person to come out supporting Trump Scientologist.
She's on Ozempic too, that asshole.
Well, she was.
Julia,
She
did you have
was.
any other wrap up thoughts? No,
No,
I'm
I mean,
gonna limit you to 3 beeholes.
yeah, are we rating 1 to 10 beeholes?
Oh, you're rating them as a cult, like in
Yeah.
a
Oh, okay.
series.
On the Beehole monitor or meter.
Crystal beehole is what the scale is. So I'm gonna give them from 1 to 10 crystal beeholes. I'm gonna give them 5 crystal beeholes.
Average beehole
Yeah,
rating.
I'm gonna
Not
give them
bad.
5 crystal beeholes just because I feel like this story is getting a little bit worn out about the twin flame and all the
Yep.
weird new agey stuff.
Yep.
I think it's getting kind of redundant, and I do find it very interesting though that it fits so many of the other cult stories, and I had never heard of this, obviously. I had never heard of the Raj Queefis before we started looking into cults, and I had never heard of, the Twin Flames and the Church of Euthanasia and all this. It just, who's behind it? That's the real story.
Yep.
Who's behind it? Not so much the front guys, but who's behind the movement. That's always the interesting part to me. But yeah, 5 crystal beeholes. JJ, your thoughts?
What's the crystal beehole scale? What is it, 1 through 10 or 1 through 5?
1 through 10 crystal beeholes.
Ooh. I'm going to give them 6.4. Technically speaking, like they were very technically accurate, and logistically speaking, they're impressive. And yeah, I agree with you. Who is financing? What is the power behind these things? We see the same framework and operations, the same characters and organizations. Something's going on here with these things. And I would argue, again, if you or any of the folks of the interwebs are familiar with the book named Operation Mind Control, I think it was written in 1978 by Walter Boart. He argues, this is where essentially where I get my theory from, rooted in at least that book. He argues that during the church committee hearings of the 70s, these things went underground into cults, these programs of MK Ultra and whatnot. So I don't know if he doesn't specifically name any that I recall off the top of my head, but he argues that they go underground, basically incorporated into intelligence operations of a black, book nature, which is what we're seeing here with Scientology, right? Has been from day one. The process is the dark wing of Scientology, if you will, and they've been MI6 and spooked up from day one as well. So there's joint efforts between some of these organizations in forming these cults, but there is seemingly a one force behind it, or an agreed upon force. Yeah.
I'm surprised by your rating. Would you give it 6.4 tight or loose beeholes?
Well, they get five. They get 5 crystal buttholes just for not being French. So that's right out the gate.
But the tightness or the looseness of the butthole, because obviously Scientologist is the tightest butthole I've ever seen.
Well, I grade on a curve,
That
so like they get a 1.4. Really, I guess we can call that kind of loose. Now, I appreciate the conversation, the invite, and the bringing the topic. I'd never heard of this thing, and I love cults. Not that I want to join one, but I like to learn about all these things. And again, it is the same deal time after time with the same patterns of behavior. So, and it seems like when things start to get a little wacky, they roll them up now. They got a little better in their evolution of activities and operations, and they roll them up and bring out another one. And I'm still not convinced that ain't J.J. Bryan leading that cult right there.
That's an interesting theory. And hey, we don't have to stop talking. I just wanted to move on to whatever else we're going to talk about. JJ,
well, you didn't rate the beehole scale.
Well, you failed to provide a beehole rating, sir.
Lola?
Yeah, you didn't do it. What? Lola, the beehole from 1 to 10, tight or loose, I would like to know as well.
Like as far as their success or their
just
how convincing they are?
the overall success, their creativity, their longevity. What's another tenet we use?
And one is
flair. How about flair?
10 is the tightest, best beehole you can be, and 1 is the loosest, most rose-budded out crystal beehole you can have. So I gave 2 really okay.
Yeah.
Loose, very loose,
very
almost
loose.
Still rose-budded.
But I give the people behind them a lot higher.
Okay,
tighter
so
butthole.
Okay, would you say the people behind them at least a tight 6?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
She's rating Scientology.
Yeah, right. That's what I said. I said process and Scientology gets a very tight beehole from me. 10.
Yeah, well, that Newman character, he's up to something. I'm telling you, he's a. I'll have to go back and revisit that lawsuit I was reading the other day, but he was involved in some weird lawsuit doing some weird activities. And now makes a lot more sense to me after this conversation.
Yeah, and look into Reed Slatkin and him.
Yeah, I'll have to revisit that one too because I know somebody who hates Reed Slack. It's like their number one villain in life. So I'll have to give her a call and see what she has to remind me about of Reed Slackin.
Yeah, he ripped off a lot of people.
Yeah, I only had vague recollections. I knew it was something software related and fraud related, but they're good at that, right? They do a lot of these frauds. I don't know how organized and planned they are, but Scientology seems to perpetrate these attacks, I would argue, on society at large. The government, you can call it the government, whatever, we're paying for it as taxpayers, when they pull these shenanigans. So I tend to take a little bit of offense to it in that regard. You know what I mean?
Word.
Colby didn't give it a Beehole rating still.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give them a 5.1 because
There you go.
all they've got going for me
It's
is
very average Beehole ratings here.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd give them like a 0.1 for trying. But dude, how can I take them seriously after watching those videos? He doesn't even take her seriously. It's like Lola was
It's
saying.
like an SNL skit.
Yeah, as soon as those cameras shut off, he just fucking turns away from her and goes and fucks somebody else.
So how do you think they're getting anyone to sign up? Because I agree with you, dude. Like there's no chemistry between the two. They don't have the standard Scientology sales pitch that you like to see, the excitement that they train them to be excited about, get people all jazzed up, right? They don't have any of that going on there, and it seems very flat, right? Their sales pitch seems very flat.
But it's in an English accent. So
Is that what does it?
I
Is that what does it?
I guess that's her idea. It's like,
Well, their claims are also so easily disprovable and like so outrageous.
Do you think
So you
it's
didn't
like
need
a
to go
joke?
that far.
It's like they're playing a joke on us. It's like
That's what I was
can't
getting
believe
at. So,
people-
is someone else just funneling money to these people under this excuse? Because who's paying $3,000 for a necklace sold by these folks?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
The mentality behind it, I don't understand because it's
Yeah,
like
they're going through the motions to say, like, look, we have all this money going. This is my take. We're going through the motions. We have all this money going through these things. They don't really care about what's going on in those motions. They just care about getting money funneled through there. Because again, who's paying $8,000 legit? Who's buying 40,000 copies of Hillary Clinton's biography, right? Autobiography, right? Who's spending $8,000 to go through a course here? You know what I mean? Like, maybe there's a few legitimate people that are lost people that get wound up in these things, but what I'm saying is it seems like it's just a good excuse. You have, this opulent menu of high priced items and be like, oh, that's $4 billion. Well, that's going to cost you $4 billion, buddy. Oh, shucks. Let me get out my wallet. You know what I mean? Because someone's funneling money through all this stuff and, they just have the exorbitant prices for that purpose so they can have an excuse.
100.
Yeah.
Absolutely 100. I was surprised at how many people signed up for the damn twin flame cult, JJ.
Oh, yeah.
They're millionaires.
they had
are
people
millionaires.
transition genders.
They had
Big time.
people.
To stay in
They
there.
said lop it right off.
Yeah,
They
because
had
they got
people-
so desperate at the end that they had to pair their cult members together because people were starting to drop off, and it was a majority female cult. So they fucking told half of them that they were trans, and you could transition or leave. And if you
Yep.
weren't transitioning fast enough, it's your fault that what's her name miscarried. I mean, it's a lot similar to Twin Ray, like the way they treat their followers. Like, yeah, you're not doing your work. That's why that guy's rubbing shit on the wall.
Yeah, right. The anal digger. The
Yep.
anal digger.
Have you guys ever heard of a documentary? It's probably from like 2010-ish, maybe a little later. It's called Kamare. And this fucking Indian American guy, for a joke, starts this yoga cult. And he like tries to make it as fucking ridiculous as possible. He does these breathing exercises. He makes them do all the sorts of fucked up shit. And he has to like do a big reveal at the end of the project that he's just been like joking. But like they start following him, and all these rich people flock around him. And so at the
Dude.
end, he's like, yeah, I'm really just a filmmaker. This was a big joke, but I'm really sorry, because he like grew attached to these people. And like half of them wouldn't even talk to him anymore, and the other half were like, holy shit, I'm gullible. And they like stayed friends with him. But it just shows you, like, you do something like this, even if the Twin Ray people were like half fucking joking, this shit takes off just because we're gullible. I mean,
Well, I don't think. Yeah, I see. You're making some great points. I think these people that the people behind these things, that mash the numbers, they know there's specific percentage of the population, and they know how to, to get right to their, tweak their heartstrings or emotions. You know what I mean? Because I never heard of that movie, but it reminds me of Nathan For You, and it reminds me of the aspects of why I love Nathan For You,
It's
because
very, very similar.
he puts on, like, I mean, it shows you how some people, there's a certain element of society that is just that stupid. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude about it, but they're just that dumb.
I mean, it is what it is, JJ. That literally, they're just that stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't agree with Nathan Fielder's politics or his incident where he tried to show his dick to them kids on that show, on that season 1 episode.
Oh, I don't
But
know about
overall,
that one.
you never seen that one?
No, I've only seen it in snippets, and I like the guy's other work, but I didn't know about that.
It's disturbing. He set himself up on a robot in the Greek Coliseum up there in the Hollywood Hills. He had these robot arms that were untying his pants if he couldn't get out of these handcuffs in time to do a Houdini trick. And he had a field of kids. Their parents. The most disturbing part was their parents signed the waiver for those kids to be there, and then he had a judge that was sitting there waiting, and a police officer waiting to arrest him if he couldn't get it done in time. Now it is ridiculous, and I just don't. It's just a little over the top for me. But the rest of his show is, well, that show shows you how dumb these parents signed releases for their children to go on a TV show to possibly see some little Jewish fella's dick. Let's be honest about it. That's some dumb shit.
To see a Jewish guy's dick.
I mean, it's gonna be tiny. I mean, we don't. Spoiler alert.
See, at least. Well, no, I won't say that.
Well, obviously, I was being facetious, but obviously, the fact that these parents would sign that waiver is obviously disturbing to me.
Well, yeah. I was just gonna say, if you're gonna be involved in some shady shit like that, at least have a small penis. Nobody wants to see no elephant trunk swinging.
But for sure. Well, have y'all familiar with that program? Because he infiltrated the news media across the world with 2 fake viral videos, and it should demonstrate how fake the news is just from those 2 examples.
Dude, I never heard of any shit like that. But
No?
It doesn't surprise me at all.
Well, he's this little Canadian fellow from British Columbia that got C's in college for business school and decided to be a stand-up comedian. And this is the intro to the TV show Nathan For You, because he's describing that he's horrible at business. But the pretense of his show is he's going to go to different small businesses and provide them advice to improve their business. And the advice he offers, it may as well be Gary Busey, post motorcycle and cocaine Gary Busey, offering business advice, because it's that terrible.
Gary Busey.
For the first episode was a frozen yogurt shop. He recommended they have a poop flavored frozen yogurt, and they did it. So it shows you how stupid people are from Amendment 1 and doing some stuff like that. The frozen yogurt shop would even sign up for doing that. But, he does things like that, where one time he filmed this pig saving another barnyard animal at like a petting zoo. Filmed it. It was all staged and everything else. A very elaborate effort. And then he had someone post it on YouTube, and then it went viral around the world on every news program. And then on a show, Nathan For You, he watches it and laughs that the whole thing went viral. But it shows you how fake things on the news are and how dumb people are. At least that was my takeaway.
What? Whose poop are they? Like, you'd have to.
I'm not trying to get into the ownership of anyone's poop or who's doing the anal digging. I'm not here to point fingers.
But you'd have to sample some in order to get the flavor right. That's all I'm saying. How do you like JJ? If I was like, hey, you've never had a banana before, and I'm like, make this banana flavor, you would think you'd have to try a fucking banana in order to try to match the flavors up. So it's like,
I would say, yum, this tastes like a banana.
Somebody's sampling shit out there.
Well, for sure, they're obviously doing it. Look no further than folks like Aleister Crowley. He loved poop stuff. He was an anal digger.
Right.
Yeah.
Aleister Crowley's an anal digger.
He was into ass play, or he actually liked fecal play?
Fecal matter.
Really? See, I
don't want to. Yeah, I don't want to get into the
work.
details. I'm happy
you
to
have JJ. I've never really dove into Crowley myself.
Well, I'm happy to discuss those matters. I'm not sure if this is the appropriate time for them, but if you
Sure
read
it
the
is.
stuff,
We talk about everything here.
if you read the stuff from specifically his time on the island of Sicily at the Abbey of Thelema, it's fucking disturbing.
Yeah.
With the poop.
Oh yeah.
Poop stuff, animal stuff, poop stuff and animal stuff, poop stuff and his girlfriend.
What'd you say?
Stuff with infants.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
See, I know all that stuff, but I've never felt so obliged as to dive into it.
Yeah. Well, I I'm indifferent about it at this point because I have done it. So I guess I shouldn't. I don't really have an opinion on it, but it is disturbing.
Well, that's a good opinion on it. It's
No, I'm
disturbing.
saying as far as like I can't really say like oh, I'm obviously studying all these things in this and picking apart the psyops of the satanic panic and stuff because even the Nazi Satanist Aquino, and again his statement's not mine. He's documented in army reports wearing Nazi ranks on his fucking uniform underneath his collar and shit. So Mark Furman did the same thing, identified an internal affairs investigation by the LAPD, strangely enough. But he ball washes Crowley all day long in his writings and stuff. So I've gotten more into Crowley as a result of that, and it's nothing. I mean, it's just dark shit, man.
Right.
Do you
Lola
think he
knows.
really did that stuff, or do you think he's just said he did?
Well, dude, there's
I think he's a true believer.
There's a whole bunch of people that I've noticed, even in the conspiracy podcast, community as we call it. People defend him and say it was shock value, and it's like, no, even if I don't know how, I don't believe that it was, and even if it was, there's people who take it seriously.
Yeah, exactly.
That followed him. So
he advocates for this.
To me, is dangerous because it's like, let's just say that he didn't do it and that he just wrote about it. I'm not saying that he didn't do it, but I'm just saying the people who believe that he did it are just as bad because they actually are out here fucking doing it with the poops and all of that.
The anal digging.
The anal digging for sure.
This is the way I look at it. So I use my series, The Anatomy of Satanic Panic, on my Thursdays in Operation GCD. I just use their own words, Aquinos, Crowleys, everybody, right? I'm not implying any of my opinions or belief systems in regards to just trying to objectively evaluate these terms and their own words and their own actions. So if you look at what Crowley wrote and advocates, for example, for the sadomasochistic rape, torture, and implies at least the murder of young boys, specifically young boys, for the purposes of financial gain and personal success. His words, not mine. And then you see the application of folks who follow Crowley, like let's look at the West Memphis Three, like Damien Eccles, and he not only wrote fiction, professed to be a follower of Crowley, numerous examples of these things. He knew polygraph key details of the crimes and the murders and told them to his probation officer, who then told them to the detectives, who then interrogated him on video with those same details. So if he didn't do the murders, he knew the intimate details of only what the murderers and the cops knew. So he definitely was involved in some shit. Whether or not the other two were there, they were at least accomplices or accessories, it seems, after the fact. They're all guilty by way of Alfred plea today, but if you look at those murders of those young boys, they had been sadomasochistically raped, tortured, and murdered. So, and they were
gonna get
8-year-old
no
boys.
argument from me, but you might get one from that one down there.
well, if we're to assume that the murders ever happened,
he thinks they may have been staged.
I think the West Memphis Three is the biggest red herring in the Satanic Panic. The dual nature of that whole control. That's why I've always thought that there's something off about all these big things that are sensationalized, but I'll say that the Manson killings and that one, and even OJ, they stick out to me as ones that I don't think maybe happened. And like I said, it's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but if someone put a gun to my head, I would go staged. And even like
I'm open to these ideas.
Well,
I'm
Lola
open to
and I
these
have
ideas.
argued about this, and she's like, I think she sees my point, but at the same time, it seems like she's coming around to the possibility that, like, yeah, these things can happen and they do happen, but we don't pay attention to 99% of it. And when you have Hollywood, the music industry, and Damien Eccles in the first movie looks guilty as fuck, these parents are fucking letting them show pictures of their dead kids. I actually didn't think this one was fake until someone pointed it out to me, a previous guest in my show, but I'd already started to think that about other things. So it just fits.
I'm open to it. What are some of the highlights on that one? Because I mean, as it's sold to us, at least even in the autopsy reports, medical reports of these children. I mean, again, this is what those details yield. But I'm open to the idea of being a psychodrama of sorts. But what do you got for me? Well, this is the first I've heard of that.
I think of the Sandy Hook parents when I watch those West Memphis 3 documentaries now, and I see actors. I don't see people that lost kids, especially that fucking doofus stepdad that
Well,
in the
you
first
had me at
movie.
Sandy Hook, sir. I was born in Danbury, Connecticut.
Well, there you
So,
go. I think it's a similar situation. I think a CIA operation was taking place in a small corner of the world where no one
yeah,
knows anybody that fucking lives there. So you
yeah.
could pull something like this off there, similar to
Those are
Sandy Hook.
those are
So
accurate statements. I wouldn't say specifically CIA, but more so the National Security Council. Sure.
whoever you want to call it, like when I say
Well, they
they,
use elements of the CIA.
for
Sure.
sure. But like with Sandy Hook, I definitely think CIA. With West Memphis 3, I don't know who did it. If it was staged, it's perfect for that. And it's just so sensationalized like the Manson killings. And I
Well,
think that
that's
if the kids did die, I'm open to that. But did the boys do it? Was it a sacrifice on a higher level? That I'm willing to entertain that too. I don't think those kids did it if it happened.
I'm willing to believe the two of them were accessories after the fact with Eccles, but you're right. I don't think Eccles did it. I think he was there.
Right. I would go with that if it really happened. I don't think it was this thing in a vacuum with a kid who liked Metallica and Aleister Crowley. I think
Well,
it was more of an
that was
operation.
all that was all sold by the PCRA. So that was all financed by the Beach Boys in the process. All these ideas of these congressional hearings about the music industry and these ideas that everyone was pointing and saying, "Oh, you listen to that music," and that was all literally financed by the process.
There you go. Yeah. So I mean, like I said, that one I'm not so sure on. It's new to me, but I definitely lean that way. And
I'm open to it, man, because you're getting the same achievement either way. That's what I'm saying. It's like a psychodrama. So you have me sold at Sandy Hook because that's what got me into conspiracy culture because that's my hometown. Like I'm from there. Like literally had the Mormon ward we used to meet at met at that school in 19 back in 45 years ago.
so, what are your opinions on it? If we want to get this episode's not
Well, I
probably
think
going
you
to
accurately described that entire. I think you accurately described that entire sector of specifically that town, but Fairfield County, Connecticut, much like Westchester County, New York, its neighbor, across state lines. It's a den of iniquity, and it's full of a bunch of spooks and defense contractors and high finance, and it's the perfect spot to portray the events as you just described, and I think that's exactly what went down there. So a lot of that stuff there was a Potemkin village. The street, Yogananda Street, where the shooter allegedly lived, most of that street was empty. Folks that owned those homes were folks like the VP of Pepsi and shit like that, global VP of Pepsi. So at least on paper, right? At least on paper, there's so many problems with every aspect of that whole situation. Much like many things, the evidence supporting the official narrative does not exist. It doesn't hold up to any scrutiny, from the 911 calls to the published police reports to the photographs to the so on and so forth.
I mean, I'm with Colby on some of this stuff. Like, I get it. He's tried to explain to me why he feels the way he does about certain things being staged, or like certain people maybe didn't die and we think that they did. Ones that I just struggle with would be like, I don't know where he stands on this, but I cannot agree with him that John Bonet was like a fake staged thing. I think that little girl actually died. I think there's enough evidence and autopsy findings to suggest that she was a real little girl that actually died in a horrifically ritualistic way.
I don't think that one was fake.
Okay, well, I also think that the OJ murders actually happened after speaking with JJ and the whole bag and stick and planting evidence and the whole.
Well, you have to write a good fucked up story, and he's talking about Mark Furman wearing Nazi regalia under his uniform. Like, that guy's not
Not
just
only
a
that,
cop.
Mark Furman was dating Nicole Brown Simpson, according to numerous parties of the LAPD and LA County Prosecutor's Office. That's in that report, that internal affairs report. He knew her breast size and the schedule in which she had custody of her children. She just got, her breast done or whatever. She got a tit job or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think she actually died. And one that I actually want to work on with JJ in the future would be the one and the only Scott Peterson case, because that one is a boundless, plethora of inconsistencies to
JJ, I
me.
want to thank you because when I tell her I think certain things, she just doesn't listen to me. And then when she hears you say it, she's like, "Oh, maybe Scott Peterson didn't do it." I'm like, "I
Well,
fucking
if
said that."
JJ says it, then
I'm glad
I
I can be of
can get on
assistance.
board.
Yeah, she just needs a push. I can't do it.
Well,
Yeah, you
you're
mean
my husband. You don't fucking count.
you mean to tell me a man who's the #1 fertilizer salesman in I think all of America and lives in Desto, California, where meth is primary ingredient, that is fertilizer, and this has nothing to do with drug trafficking? I doubt it.
JJ,
Somebody
I want to
else.
get you on down the road here soon to talk about Idaho 4 and that shit that just went down with the firefighters. Just a little tangent there, but
It's a wild one. That's what I was talking about tonight with the Ron from Wicked Planet.
Yeah, that one's interesting too. I think it was Ryder or Lee, somebody else I was just talking to the other day brought up Scott Peterson to me. And I think it was Ryder Lee actually, and was like, why did he buy Christmas presents for somebody he knew he was gonna murder? Why did he do this? Why did he do that?
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't even comment on this right now because I gotta run all this shit through JJ first and make sure that this shit is legit before I even talk about it. Because up until this point, I was pretty convinced that he murdered that bitch and threw her pregnant ass into the ocean.
because you watched the true crime porn about it, like
Right, but the true crime always gets you fucked up on the wrong path, thinking stuff. So that's why. But we talked a lot about beeholes tonight, and I've
A lot of
really enjoyed
beeholes.
it. And speaking of beeholes, my ass is like completely asleep. I don't know if you
I
guys
was gonna
want to
say,
wrap up for
please, yes.
tonight, but
yeah, I was
Great
waiting for someone to
conversation, a lot of
call,
beehole
Uncle.
talk.
mm-hmm.
I definitely need to. Yeah, I need to stand up myself and take a stretch. That would be. So I got
Yeah,
some sore beehole, not crystallized, but sore beehole action myself here.
right. Yeah, no, I'm getting
It's
there too,
almost
JJ.
midnight, JJ's time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I do. I'm a night owl myself, sir. I'm a bit of a night owl.
Good deal. That'll make scheduling easier.
I live on a farm in a van down by the river. It's just me and my dog, so we don't do a lot other than we like to party.
JJ, is the headband and sunglasses Royal Tenenbaum nod?
I get that a lot. In fact,
Well,
some folks
I'm
also
asking for
accuse
a
me of being a
friend.
John McEnroe fan.
What's that?
And
Oh,
I actually love that movie. I love Wes Anderson's films, but I don't. I guess not intentionally, at least it's not. But I guess suppose inadvertently it looks that way, right? I do like the Wilsons though. That was one of my favorite movies as a teenager. Bottle Rocket.
Wes Anderson's debut.
Yep.
Yeah, no one ever talks about that one. They just talk about these Picasso fuck ups he's making now.
I love the
Oh,
Grand Budapest Hotel. I don't give a fuck
that's
what
a great
you
one.
say.
I stopped.
That's a
like
great one.
I think I told Lola earlier. I kind of dropped off after Life Aquatic. It was just
I
like,
loved it.
Yeah.
I thought.
Oh,
it was
did you know he was a
cinematic
spook?
genius.
Wes.
No, Jacques Cousteau. I was just reading about some. I was lost in Michael Riconosciuto's Tales of Nonsense and sometimes fantastical tales of nonsense. He makes a lot of good points though. He was talking about knowing Jacques Cousteau as a spook, and I'm like, this guy's out of control today. Michael Riconosciuto of the Promise Software, right? His godfather was Fred Crispin, the grassy knoll shooter, according to Jim Garrison, the first guy to see a UFO. Fred Crispin. Riconosciuto is an interesting character, but I recently discovered 75 pages of an interview he had back in 1991, and it's fascinating.
I haven't even heard of him.
He's the guy in the Octopus documentary on Netflix about Danny Castellero. He was one of Castellero's main sources.
Really? So I did a Danny Castellero episode probably like a year before that movie came out. I never watched the film. I kind of want to. Is it accurate?
No.
Okay. Well, fuck it then.
Yeah, paints a very negative. It's as accurate. They do the same thing that Castellero they did to Maury Terry.
Okay, I'm not watching it then. Fuck that.
So Michael Riconosciuto was a COINTELPRO operative for Ted Gunderson, working in the Haight-Ashbury in 1967, following Charles Manson and the process. And Dana Duda over at Rotting Jules recently, in her research, got her hands on the Straight Theater, the performance sheet for one night at the Straight Theater. I believe it was June 15th, 1967. It includes the Grateful Dead. Wonder if that Scientologist we were talking about earlier, their manager was there. That was early on in their career. And Charles Manson's a technical person on the stage, and Michael Riconosciuto is the stagehand as well.
I saw her tweets about that. I didn't dive into them yet, but okay. That sounds
It's a
pretty cool.
fascinating mix of characters there, but that's why Rikana Shudo's there. He's by that point in time, he's already developed lasers for the Navy, underwater LSD labs for these spooky operations, and he's now working as a COINTELPRO operative to keep his own ass out of jail.
Was that with like John C. Lilly and all that shit?
Rikana Shudo, no, he was a whiz kid, man. This dude, like Rikana Shudo, looks like a complete dirtbag, but like that dude's a next level of intelligence. Literally, like just a genius beyond genius.
All right. Well, acids are falling asleep. JJ, you want to plug your stuff real quick?
Yes, sir. Operation GCD, Sundays, Thursdays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Appreciate your time and enjoy the conversation.
Yes, sir. Julia.
And great to meet you, Lola. And excellent first podcast, ma'am. And Julia, looking forward to our 1970s dating game serial killers. Well, I guess it was just TV show serial killers. No, I guess they were all dating games, weren't they? Or game shows. There we go. Game shows. Dating game.
Serial killers.
Yeah. Game. It was dating game and to tell the truth. And there's one I'm missing right now.
Mm-hmm.
Looking forward to that.
I'm looking forward to it too.
And Colby, sir, looking forward to future conversations in all these matters. Happy to talk Colts anytime. I've never been to Oregon, but based upon my experience talking three folks from Oregon tonight, I may have to, forego my future fears of ever going back to the state. Some tragic things have occurred on times in the past when I've tried to visit Oregon. One time, I was driving south from Seattle, taking the afternoon, trying to go visit the Goonies in Astoria. Obviously, not the actual Goonies. I just want to go to the town, right? I had an afternoon to burn. There was an 8-car blazing fire pile up on the bridge trying to get into Oregon. The whole bridge was shut down. People died. I'm like, well, I'm out of here. And then, other tragic events occurred on my other trips, not so much tragic in the sense of the car accidents. I discovered the brewery. I was going from Chico to the coastline heading northbound in Oregon. Never made it past Eureka. I discovered the Lost Coast Brewery and Great White Beer when I fell in love with it that day and never left. I left a couple days later, but never left on my normal track to get into Oregon. I've heard very nice things about those things, places in Oregon, although Portland seems like a real post-apocalyptic nightmare to me.
That's about 4 hours away. You've got a couch here anytime.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. No, I one of my old dudes, when my first assignment in the Air Force was from Roseburg.
Okay.
Is that a town?
Roseburg is about 2 hours north of us.
Okay, that's where he's from. I know he's a paramedic there today, but I mean, I've always heard things about stories of sand dunes. I'm like, dude, don't you live near the mountains? He's like, no, I live in sand dunes. I'm like, don't you live near the ocean? He's like, no, dude, sand dunes. I'm like, I don't know what's going on in Oregon.
A little bit of everything.
Sand dunes, yeah. Yeah, but you're more than welcome anytime, JJ. And of course, I always enjoy the conversation.
Yes, ma'am.
Julia, plug.
Cosmic Peach Podcast, wherever you listen to podcasts, and every Saturday on the Cult of Conspiracy, and every once in a while on the Occult Rejects, and sometimes I'm a certified garbage can dude.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I'm just everywhere. I'm everywhere and nowhere. I'm like Scientology. Thanks for having me.
Yes, ma'am. Anytime. I live right here. Lola, you probably don't want to plug, but thank you for joining us. She has Twitter, but she doesn't use it, so leave her alone. We're going to have her back on. I'm going to try to get some of her really good stories out of her one of these days. She's got some juicy ones. And for all you conspiracy players out there, we will let you know if any of the four of us receive a subpoena from the Scientologists in the mail. I mean, I told the Newmans I lived in Medford, so I'm not far away. They could hand deliver that shit. But anyway, thank you all. God bless us, everyone. Okay, I just want to stop recording. How do I do that?